let me in, so move it on over.
So much is happening. So much is moving so incredibly quickly. This morning, I was hiking around in the hill country with some friends, and it hit me so hard, the fact that I wanted to come on air and thank all of the white hat hackers that are the true heroes in this 21st century war against tyranny, who have been going in and exposing the criminal activities of the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton, George Soros, the United Nations, the Rockefeller Foundation, and others. And as we identify who runs this world government, it's going to be impossible for them to ever be able to carry out their operations. They are very arrogant. They are stuck in another century. They are basically being destroyed in front of our very eyes. This is an amazing moment that we're witnessing. You know, if InfoWars gets hacked, you just find out we're good people fighting hard. The globalists get hacked, you find out they're hardcore criminals. But those of us that research already know how bad they are. This is just proving word for word what we have said they're going to do. Because I read books they wrote and things. But you get the emails, it's even worse, obviously, because it's internal. Yesterday, it comes out, going through the thousands, tens of thousands of George Soros emails, that indeed they want the UN to take over the internet. This is from years ago. It's now happening in a month, exactly 1 month from now, October 1st. This is so epic, I can hardly even talk at this point. And that they're going to selectively censor everyone that they don't agree with and give preferential treatment to his open society groups, which are basically the Legion of Doom, meets the Quantum Group from the James Bond movies, which is actually the name of his group, because he is the character that things like Spectre are based on. You cannot make up the magnitude of the evil we're facing. And then the latest today, leaked memo reveals Soros' plan for federally controlled police. Quiet overhaul of justice system to selectively only target conservatives. You already see that happening. This is unbelievable. And of course, it's all public already because we have the Strong Cities Initiative. Sure, we get their leaked memos and people seize on those because they should, because they're internal. But what about the Strong Cities Initiative? Loretta Lynch says the UN is going to run through the Justice Department, our police departments. This is Mayday level insanity. When I say Mayday, that's the communist day. I mean that is a double entendre. And look at Drudge Report again. Talk about on the pulse of what's happening. This morning, I went to Infowars.com and I looked at the video we put out Sunday, and it only had like 180,000 views. I can put out some little side issue video and it gets, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. We have videos with 20 million views just on one video. And I thought, man, I really need to get on air tomorrow and push this and beg the listeners to make it as big as they can. And maybe I named it the wrong thing when I said, Hillary, please stop killing people. Please don't kill me. I should name it Special Report Proving Hillary is a Murderer. And that's what it proves. And then it has her bragging about it. It's a very powerful report. Only like 20% is about me. But I've had to hire security because some stuff that's been going on. And we're going to be basically letting folks know more about that in the near future. This is a serious situation. But Alex Jones asked Clinton not to kill him. That's dead center at DrudgeReport.com, and I want to thank the Drudge Report and Matt Drudge because I'm trying to, defend the free press. He's defending the free press. We're all defending each other. Basically, circle the wagons here, ladies and gentlemen, from these wolves. But I'm asking the listeners, please, it was just crazy. I was already thinking I'm going to ask everybody to really push this video, this report today, and then I come into the office, and there it is on Drudge. So thank you, Drudge. That just shows the synchronicity, serendipity, the providence, but thank you. Because few people are at the next level of having to deal with the Clintons, and Drudge is one of those people longer than I have that's had to deal with them. So it's kind of a scary fraternity to be in, but it's a very honorable one to be in. We'll be right back with all the huge news. It's an epic broadcast. Last week, I saw a Mark Dice video on Infowars.com where he said it looks like that the pickle jar was already open with Hillary, a stunt to show that she's really healthy. on Jimmy Kimmel. And so I came in here and did a comedy piece and played Caddyshack clips and said I think that it was a fake, event, that it was staged because the pickle jar didn't pop, but I had fun with it. It was in thousands of publications. It was on CNN. It was on ABC News. I'm told it was all over the place. I could put in Picklegate. There'd be thousands of articles making fun of me. But something happened. In the comments, folks went, pickle jars do pop. This is a stunt. You're being political, Kimmel, so it's okay for him to cover it. Almost everyone turned against him. Almost all of the response by the internet was very positive. People pointed out that I was having fun with it in the full piece and that they were misrepresenting. Wolf Blitzer goes on last night, makes jokes about the pop, the pop, the pop. They say lavaliers won't pick up a pop. I'm wrong. They open it and it pops. And Blitzer has some trouble at first. There's something about you being watched trying to open something and it's like Samson having his hair cut off. It weakens you. I experienced that myself. So he's straining with it for real. It's not moving, and then it pops. And they're like, whoa, it popped. And they cut right there and don't show you what happened after that, basically. I'm going to play that clip. We have all these world events taking place. The reason I'm covering this is that they were really trying to attack me, and then the audience goes, ooh, when it pops. And see, I sat there at my dining room table with Pat Riley before we went and worked out that morning, and I said, you watch, this is going to get big. This is going to get picked up. The public's been trained subliminally to only care about petty stuff. The general public, I'm going to do something petty on pickles. It's going to be huge. I bet Kimmel picks it up. And again, it's that I know how they operate, and it's blown up in their face. Silly little petty stuff like this is what can bring them down. It's like getting Al Capone on his tax returns, not the thousands of murders. Now, that said, it's happening again. Last week, Roger Stone's coming on tomorrow, by the way, with big breaking news. And I got to be careful what I say, because a lot of this isn't going to be released till tomorrow. But digressing from that, there were articles in hundreds of newspapers, everything from in online publications, that Alex Jones went too low this time. Alex Jones really did it. He's attacking women. He's attacking their genitals. He's basically a digital rapist, is what some articles said. Media Matters, run by the White House, said Trump allies Roger Stone and Alex Jones discussed whether Huma Abedin's genitals were mutilated. Her mother works and pushes at journals sexual mutilation as a good thing. That's what we were talking about. And I knew that. I thought everybody knew that, because it was in the news years ago. They didn't even check to see if it was true and said I was a liar. And now it's all over the news that her mother advocates it and pushes it, and for Sharia law all over the world. Just like Mateen's dad pushes, the mass shooter dad, and shows up at the Hillary rally, or just like we have Khan starting an Islamic journal and getting huge foreign funding. That's where he started, to push Sharia law in the West. I mean, these people are pushing Sharia law. 10 years ago, I thought that was some extreme right-wing, neocon, warmongering disinfo, that Muslims would really try to come here and take over the Democratic Party and push Sharia. They were right. It was so extreme, I couldn't believe it. These people are out of control. The Democrats will ally with anyone that will bring down this country so they can control it. These people are enemies of the state, enemies of the people. It came out yesterday. I would never have thought Hillary wasn't just brokering deals for money from foreigners. Why didn't I think of that? That's my honesty. I just don't think like that, even though I try to think like they do. I thought it was all these foreign governments paying her off to get good deals and to screw over American interests, which it was. The Chinese president, she was representing him as well, not even as a triple agent, just a go-through to screw everyone, so you could get access to the Chinese president and get deals in China through her. Of course. Of course. Good Lord, totally amoral. Nuclear reactors in North Korea that can create A-bombs and hydrogen bombs. The entire Long March missile system of our ICBMs. These people are Look, there's a world government model. The globalists have set it up. But do you know why globalism is falling? I always talk to a lot of really top politicos and people like Paul Craig Roberts and others. They'd say, Alex, it's more ineptitude than you're saying. Yes, there's a plan for globalism. Yes, it's serious. Yes, they want a world government. But, son, they're all screwing each other over, too. It's never going to work. And here's why it won't. Because they are screwing even the Anglo-American establishment. They're double and triple dealing at every level. And they can't even keep their New World Order going because they're so dishonorable. They're the biggest enemy of their world government project. It's amazing. I mean, she represents the communist Chinese unelected dictator. Good Lord, arrest her immediately. Immediately. You realize how illegal that is? I mean, this is out of control. And more comes out. More and more comes out. And I've got to tell you, I came up here Saturday and Sunday and worked with Rob Dew. Rob Dew worked 7 days last week. He volunteered because he cares about his family and his children and you. And he was up here until 10 o'clock at night with me on Saturday. And then he worked almost through the night, slept 3 hours, and worked till 4:30 when he got here with the 16-minute piece that's on drudgereport.com right now. And maybe 20% of the videos about myself and what it's like to know that Hillary's called me a dark heart and to know how she loves to kill people or audit people or destroy people or go after their families, you name it, but that I had to do it. And then the video, today I was going to come in and say, folks, this needs to really go viral. Help me make it go viral. I didn't ask Drudge that. And I fire up drudgereport.com. It's dead center. Alex Jones asked Clinton not to kill him. And notice, 2 days into this, I even predicted to do on Sunday night. I called him. I said, good job on that. Thank you for working so hard. And I said, watch. I don't think the press will pick it up unless Drudge picks it up. I said, because it's so dead on. They are so scared of this because just going back over her murders and her history and the illegal wars and how she's turned jihadis loose in all these different countries to kill people and brags about it, she is 100% guilty of mass murder and organized crime and illegal wars that Congress admits are illegal and funding jihadists and al-Qaeda. Not just in the last 5 years, but when she was co-president with Bill. These are horrible people who I say are totally amoral. They're not. They'll screw globalists over and the communist Chinese and double and triple deal and quadruple dip. But when they'll go out of their way and spend their own money to kill Christians and to overthrow Western culture. Because they're so evil that it's just like, hide that light, put that fire out, close those blinds. I don't want to see that. Hillary Clinton is a demon. And everybody knows it's real that I'm challenging her. It's real that Stephen Bannon is challenging her. It's real that Matt Drudge is challenging her. And all the harassment that undoubtedly Drudge has gone through, and I'm just going to stop right there. People ask, why is Matt Drudge reclusive? Well, I mean, I'm getting reclusive, quite frankly. This is not fun, but it's our duty. And here's the good thing. We can put the info out. It can be proven to be accurate. You can spread it with basically no risk to yourself unless they fully take over. Then it's censorship on everybody, and it only gets worse. But they'll win if we don't speak up. The only way you're not safe is not taking action now. So I'm going to ask you to go to drudgereport.com. I was going to repost at the front page of InfoWars today, and we're doing that. But the easiest thing to do is just go to drudgereport.com and to post it to Facebook, Twitter, and every other website you can, and to tell people at work. People are worried. I mean, you've got all these Clinton women that were raped that are fearing for their lives. Well, absolutely. A guy jogs up to your rural house, I've had these women on, and says, where's your doggy? Or where's your kitty? Oh, it didn't do too good at the end. How your kids doing? But, I mean, at a certain point, does the whole world just bow down? Don't you get we've got a better chance fighting them politically than rolling over? The whole Republican establishment is against Trump. That's the total endorsement of Trump. Nigel Farage is coming up today, live. George Washington of Europe. We've got Lord Monckton coming on about all these UN treaties to take over the internet, but it's all happening, people. I'm reposting it to Infowars.com, basically under the title, "Here is the proof that Hillary Clinton is a mass murderer." That's really what 80% of the video is. It chronicles that. And it's a very important video. And I'm asking listeners to get it out to everyone they know. Turns out Jesse Jackson previously praised Trump for the amount of African Americans and other minorities he hired, because they've done the studies. They've tried to go look at it to demonize him, and all it does is prove Trump hires more minorities. It's almost a way to go after him, really, if you're really a hardcore conservative, that he does bring in guest workers, you name it. I mean, he pays women a lot. He advances. You know, I tried to put the different times when Hillary Clinton bragged about killing people or made fun of countries she'd bombed with uranium and just all the other sickening statements, but there's so many you can't put them all in there. So obviously we're going to have more reports that come out, not just the one that's dead smack dab in the middle of DrudgeReport.com. Alex Jones asked Clinton not to kill him. And obviously Drudge is baiting the media there to draw attention to this and to this powerful video. Try to give us all a little more protection. And they can have all the snot-nosed media establishment pundits make fun of us, but the public doesn't believe you. You have a 6% trust rate, dum-dum. Alternative media is over 80 in most major studies because people trust something that has thousands of flavors that they can check for themselves, or raw video, or documents. If my video was an establishment video, it would be 10 minutes of pundits talking and one clip of me saying something out of context. This is almost all clips of Hillary Clinton and her cohorts. But I'd even forgotten about this. I should have put this audio in. Remember the child rape victim? Hillary admits this, that as a lawyer, she represented someone who she knew was guilty. You know what? That's fine. But you don't have to laugh about it and make sick jokes about it and relish it. And then she goes on to protect Bill Clinton, the serial rapist, and is used during the bimbo eruptions as the fake feminist to give Bill cover. She's a predator. She reportedly, before she got so ill, is a handful. Beats men upside the head, women. She wears the pants. She admires Janet Reno, who got caught in the back of a car outside Miami when she was the district attorney with a 12-year-old girl covered in vomit. She used to go check the kids out of the juvie and take them for a little spin for 5 or 6 hours. These are some pigs. Now, I got to tell you, they're tough, though. It takes a lot to drag a girl out of a juvie. And these people are sick, okay? But this is criminal energy. Normal people just wouldn't even think of this stuff. I know what I just said sounds crazy. Just like Uma Abedin's mother running the main journals that push worldwide for women to be sexually mutilated and how great it is because it stops them having bad desires. This is a group of fruits, anti-liberal scum. Good Lord, help us. And the left loves it because they're not the left. They're trash. And I told you all this, and now it's all over the news. Her words pushing it. And the media attacks me and says I'm making it up. No, I'm not. It's been proven that it's all over the news today. But meanwhile, child rape victims comes out against Clinton. This happened 1975, 41 years ago, and it's coming out. All the ghosts are coming out. All of them coming back. It's like at the end of The Hunger when all the guys are coming out of the coffins and going after the queen. Dragging her into the coffin with them. Let's go to this clip. Kathy Shelton. Here it is.
If I ever had to meet her in person, it would be very hard for me not to walk up and smack her. I know that sounds mean.
In the Daily Mail, Hillary Clinton represented Thomas Alfred Taylor as his defense attorney in his first criminal case in Arkansas in 1975. Taylor was convicted, but only ended up serving a few months behind bars.
I mean, she put me through a lot at 12 years old. I mean, I had to go look through this window and ID these guys. I just want to know, you got a daughter and a grandbaby. What happens if that daughter of yours, if that would have been her, and they pulled you in at that time to do that? What would you do? You would have defend. I mean, you would.
I want this woman on. She deserves a good microphone.
You don't know me, so I'm a piece of crap to you. You know, who cares about me as long as you can win your first case as an attorney? And that was her first case ever.
The Washington Free Beacon released tape recordings of the 1980 conversation where Hillary Clinton talked about the 1975 rape case with leisure, with relish. Plus, it is heard.
Took a lot of different tests. I had to tell her. And she passed. She forever scared my face.
He took it. He passed it. She knew he was
After
guilty.
laughing on that tape and stuff, she's pretty well stuck in knowing that she lied, knowing that it happened to me. It's horrible, you know, because she's supposed to be for women and children, and here she is saying, well, I know they did it, but I defended them anyway. And I think she got them both off on the technicality of losing something, and she lost it on purpose. It wasn't lost. How could all this stuff get lost all of a sudden? I tried to get the
All right, we'll be back.
record.
The full video's up on Infowars.com. Rapists need to be lined up and shot. Anybody ever touches my daughters, rapes them, you better hope the law gets to you before I do. That's a guaranteed promise. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And you're seeing the information war go into high gear as the entire world, hackers here in the U.S., hackers in Russia, hackers in the U.K., hackers in China, hackers in Mexico, all over the world assail the Democratic Party, the Republican establishment, the European Union criminals, the French government, Hillary Clinton, the DNC, all of it. And guess what? George Soros wants a world government, the UN running the internet. It's all public now in his emails. And the UN running our police departments via the Justice Department. Word for word, word for word, what I told you. But I don't want to give myself credit. They say publicly this stuff too. That's what's so frustrating. Do folks understand 95% of what I talk about is admitted? I know 20 years ago when I talked about goats being spliced with spiders to create body armor in their milk, that was in scientific papers. It was not in the news at the time because I and others covered it. A few years later, it was on the news. Still, people don't believe me today. Oh, there's a new tactic, by the way. I saw a bunch of articles this morning that we got hacked. Yeah, 5 years ago, and it's not even what they're saying it was. And everybody changed their password for prisonplanet.tv, so it was a non-issue. But that, again, is economic attack. They're so upset that the real hackers and the patriots are against them, so they're, I guess, trying to draw attention to us and hope stuff goes on. Hey, whatever, folks want, the New World Order to win, fine. All I'm telling you is this is the epic battle of all time. And then it gets worse. Then it gets worse. They've now come out again saying that I said Obama sent the tornado to Oklahoma City a few years ago to distract from what he'd done. No, a caller called and asked, and I said they do have weather weapons. They can control major weather systems, but that this was probably a real tornado. I mean, weather weapons are on the History Channel. They're on the Weather Channel. I mean, I've had Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons, on. He was 90 years old at the time when it was declassified. This is all admitted, but then they misrepresent. But that's why they're so discredited. They're desperate now. There's a lot of big military news, a lot of huge political news. Look at drudgereport.com. Poll, Trump 3% up. Magazine. Well, if you do any real scientific poll, he's dead even or ahead. The problem is that they've been doing so many fake polls that it has in internal polling brought his numbers down closer to Hillary in battleground states. I mean, it's worked on weak-minded people. Now, all of her scandals, despite the fact that they're manipulating these polls, have still brought Trump back up even in the stage polls. But it's just an exercise in mind control. And are the people that have been fooled so many times, are they ready to not be conned? But here's some of the others. Magazine. I'm a young black man and I support him. Michigan gets ready for visit. Clinton, give Detroit jobs to Syrian refugees. She actually said that. These people are out of control. Obama, dumping the new arrivals on the street. War. Media calls for even more aggressive Trump coverage. Yeah, the media is hyping itself up and saying, we don't need to be objective, let's be more deceptive. I remember Billy Corgan, like a few weeks ago, sent me an email and said, why aren't you covering this New York Times article? Well, I hadn't seen it. And it was, you read it, it's like, it's just time to be deceptive. We just need to get rid of any objectivity. So they're having pep rallies to mainline their lying. They're saying, we've only got 6% trust rate, what do we do? Well, let's use our disadvantage. I guarantee you this is being said in the meetings. Let's just go with it and hide it in plain view. It's called gaslighting. It's a psychological warfare tactic. They're using it. Is it working on you? I think it is working on some people. You saw the latest Mark Dice video. I didn't get to it yesterday. I'm going to air it today. Everyone he talks to doesn't know who Joe Biden is. The smarter ones go, isn't he in politics or something? But let me tell you, these people will look at you, if you're wearing a Trump hat, like you are a child molester. They are invincibly ignorant, invincibly stupid, invincibly moronic. And they're out there saying Trump has flip-flopped on immigration. No, one of his campaign people came out and said, we'll clarify the specifics. And Trump says the specifics is, we're deporting the felons, first thing we're doing. And then we're going to make folks come here legally. Done. Boom. We're going to hire more Border Patrol. That is not a flip-flop. But see, he always said, it's really hard to come here legally. We should make it easier for good people, legal people from all over the world that want to work hard, don't have criminal records to come here. But let me tell you, Mexico's sending a lot of serious criminals into this country, a lot of really bad people. Mexico's in trouble. It's falling apart down there, and we're going to kick these criminals out. The type of criminals that have committed 3-4 murders. The type of criminals that have been deported 7 times. But see, they just cut it down to Mexico's sending a lot of really, really bad people in. And then everybody, in this modern culture, the propaganda is really thin. But as Joseph Goebbels said, propaganda doesn't even need to be sophisticated. He goes, you want to dumb it down so that people get to feel like they own it. And their own laziness buys into it. So you get to be a victim now. Donald Trump hates Hispanics. Oh, I've been hurt. I get to be a victim. And then but here's the deal. Most Hispanics aren't buying into it and say, I just feel bullied by the other people that are telling me I should. And this is how I'm supposed to think, even though most of the numbers don't show that. But to a certain extent, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, if you sell enough blonde-haired piñatas, somebody, then at least little kids, start buying into the fact. It's like the Jewish kid. Do we ever play those clips? I want to cue that up later where the Jewish kids are like, and Trump hates Hispanics, Trump hates Asians, and he hates Jews, he hates me. The parents have like their 5-year-olds crying that Donald Trump wants to put them in a gas chamber. That is child abuse, people. It's freakish. Yeah. Let's back this up and actually play this here in a moment. Let's go ahead and play that for folks. Soon as we can. Here's the clip.
Never Trump! Never Why don't you like Trump? Why he's racist. Because he's racist. He hates Muslims. He wants to deport Muslims. And I have friends that are Muslims, and he's mean to Jews, and I'm a Jew too. And
what has he done to the Jews? That's so mean.
He said a mean insult to Jews. Like, he says mean insults to Jews, and yeah, he's mean. And he just says mean things to a reporter, like, excuse me, your breaths, things like that. It's just mean. It's like...
Well, who do you like?
Hillary Clinton and John Casey.
Okay.
Those are my favorites.
Are you in public school?
What?
Do you go to public school?
Yeah, it's spring break. We go to FCPS. It's down in... But I go to...
Did you say most of your classmates are for Hillary or for Donald Trump?
Yeah, no. I think all of my classmates hate Trump. They like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
What?
All right, I mean, this is pathetic. This little Jewish kid thinks Donald Trump's coming to get the Jews. I'm not even going to respond to that the Trumps have, married into Jewish families and things like that. I'm not going to get into the fact he's been a trailblazer for civil rights. I'm not going to get into the fact that he's been a trailblazer for equal rights for homosexuals. I'm not going to even play Jesse Jackson a decade ago, saying what a great person Donald Trump was, trying to give him an award, basically for hiring so many minorities and black people. And that's what Trump says he's going to do. If he gets elected, he's going to come with building projects and businesses and factory incentives in your town. But I know we want Hillary Clinton, who, under her control, her and Obama doubled black unemployment because they want everybody under their control. You want prosperity, you go for Donald Trump. You want to be a slave under the New World Order, I don't care what color you are, go with Hillary Clinton. A master criminal. There's not even a choice here. This is so obvious. But everybody can hold their nose and say, you know, well, I'm, going to go for Gary Johnson because I'm a purist. Meanwhile, G20 summit to deal with rising anti-globalism. The globalists are meeting. The leaders of nations are meeting to try to organize, they admit, and stop their own populations, stopping them from stealing their sovereignty. That is a very, very important article that's on Infowars.com and DrudgeReport.com, where they openly admit, and they've been in everything from the New York Times, the Financial Times of London, The Economist, hitting the panic button. In fact, there's the New York Times, saying world government's in trouble. Our corporate takeover's in trouble. Hillary, if she falls, will be the next domino. Emergency. Prop her up. Do everything you can. So they've taken the gloves off, and I thank God they have. They are discrediting themselves. They are cutting their noses off despite their faces. They are burning themselves down. One of our reporters went out to the gay pride parade. I'll play this after the break. Ashley did, and they're just screaming they hate Trump. He wants to hurt the gay people. I mean, this is the idiocy. They want to be with Uma Abedin, whose mother says cut women's genitals off. She pushes it worldwide. She's like the main proponent. I didn't even realize that last week when I talked about it. I knew she was a big one. I didn't know she's like the lady saying cut your daughter's genitals off. These people are crazy. Their supporters are crazy. They're dumb. And what do you do when the general public acts like animals? The average Democratic Party voter acts dumber than a dog. They act like animals, but they have a weird obsession with tyranny and pushing it on you. I don't care what color they are. They're soft. They're stupid. They're weird. Their controllers are like, look like people out of a crime movie. They're crazed. They're craven. The news is, oh, she worked at a journal that opposed women's rights. No, her mother wants to cut your genitals off. How do they counter that? They just have hundreds of newspapers come out last week and say, I'm a big liar. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Told the truth. And now it's out in the news today. Huma Abedin's mom linked to shocking anti-woman book and has written in the support of having young girls' genitals removed so they, quote, don't have pleasure. Why'd God put it there then, you witch? She worked as the assistant editor of Mother's radical journal, Muslim journal, when it blamed America for 9/11. Now the globalists and the Muslims working together are who did 9/11 to bring in the tyranny. Now let's stop right there. The special report where I list and chronicle the crimes of Hillary and her admitted murders is on DrudgeReport.com. I'm asking everybody to get that and to send it to the Four Winds. I've also reposted it on Infowars.com with a headline dealing with the fact that it chronicles her crimes. Or at least I'd ask for it to be reposted. When that is reposted, tell me so people can get it from Infowars.com as well. Pardon me? Oh, it's fine. Okay, it's on screen. Then my computer's not updating. Special report, Alex Jones asked Hillary Clinton not to kill him. Hillary and Bill Clinton have left a trail of dead bodies and their ascent to political power. And this film documents that this 16.5-minute report is key. Now, I'm going to stop right there before I get to all the other news. Like leaked memo reveals Soros plans federally controlled police, itself under UN control. That dovetails with Soros wants to censor the internet for conservatives, patriots, libertarians, nationalists. You just don't get to be on the internet. You're in a gulag. I guess he helped round folks up to go to concentration camps before, and now he's helping set up an electronic one. Who will save us from this demon? Russian has now positioned troops 50 miles from Alaska. and is moving more troops up to the Ukraine border as NATO openly calls for war. And finally, before I get to more of this news, I want to remind listeners that we are listener-supported and viewers, and that when you get a PrisonPlanet.tv membership for $5.95 a month, you can share it with up to 20 people on that same membership. That helps fund the cameras and some of the crew and what we do, is so we can then produce it, and then the next day give almost all of it out free on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and other places. The problem is they're censoring us more and more, so we have to have our own platform. So thank you for letting us basically have a mothership or command base. PrisonPlanet.tv. Also, you can get 20% off on Vitamin Mineral Fusion drink at InfoWarsLife.com while supplies last. This affordable and great tasting Vitamin Mineral Fusion drink mix is 20% off at InfoWarsLife.com to help listeners get a hold of this game-changing formula. The very best plant-derived vitamins and minerals, full spectrum, trace elements, amino acids, so you absorb it. It's great tasting fruit punch. Kids love it. Great way to get them into multivitamins. In fact, my mouth's watering thinking of, will somebody make another picture of that and share it around the office? Thanks. Like, bring me a big picture with all this ice and then like give it to me like it's just Papa Goblins. Continuing, Vitamin Mineral Fusion is loaded with a full month supply, that's in the concentrated canister, of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body needs. With this unique delivery system, proprietary manufacturing process, it's cold pressed, basically. This formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin products. The best part is the ingredients of Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or the highest quality lab standards, a few that are lab. Just some of the ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion include vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, magnesium, selenium, L-glutamine, alpha, lipoic acid, folic acid, calcium, and many others. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to get your bottle of Vitamin Mineral Fusion today. Read the 5-star reviews. This is Contamando in Mesquite, Texas. I will buy this product from you from now on. 5 stars. Better absorption than other vitamins. This product is great because the powder is great stability of the active ingredients until you mix it. Yeah, it's powder. It's not all clumped. With purified water, and then because if it is a liquid, you have a much greater absorption, and you feel so much better and energized in the morning. Thanks, Alex. Absolutely. It's been so good for my kids. Also, our initial run of Bio True Selenium is running low. It'll be months before we get more. It's from mustard seed, the very best formula anybody's got out there. Huge dosages of it. Key for electrochemical activity. That is selling out. Probably only be a month till we get more in, but it is starting to sell out. Probably about a week's supply left. So very good introduction. I'm glad folks understand how good selenium is. It's selling better than I thought. Good. That helps fund our operation. Thank you. We also have the Hillary for Prison shirts at cost. That's why it's important to buy the other products where we do get the profit to fund our operation. And again, I want to thank you. Don't thank me. You are the info war. This has already shook up the media. The shirts are all over the place. There's lots of knockoffs. That's great. In fact, I don't care where you get your Hillary for Prison shirt. Ours is basically the original design. Infowars.com on the back. Legalize Freedom as well. On the arm, it says Infowars.com on the right arm. It's $9.95. It costs us $5 shipping, $5 on average for the shirt. Sometimes we even lose money on it. It doesn't matter. The point is, get it, wear it, get it out to folks. InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsLife.com is the nutraceutical subsection. And there's also lots of daily specials that we send out only for folks that are part of the free newsletter. You sign up for that at Infowars.com/newsletter. The battle for human liberty. The battle for Western civilization. Straight ahead. By the way, a lot of people think that we do this or Mark Dice does this to be mean. In fact, I've even had reporters before go, but I don't want to go out and make fun of people. We're not doing that, even though I laugh sometimes. Again, it's uncomfortable laughter. I mean, I'll smile sometimes when I see a friend fall down until I realize they're hurt. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm smiling. It's an uncomfortable thing that goes on, but these people are dangerous. They're coming for our guns. They're coming for what's left of our money. They'll destroy productivity and turn us into North Korea. The problem is I've got the most epic audio and video ever that's on Infowars.com of a feminist leader harassing and bullying some poor Asian man because he has a little hula girl that is very tasteful on his dash. Happy fun. And she's going, the continent of Hawaii was exploited by the evil white people, and you're a white male. And he's looking back at this lady who's white and saying, well, no, I'm not. And then the white people that are in the vehicle are saying to her, shut up, lady, you're weird. It's like a group Uber or Lyft. Social justice warrior triggered by dashboard hula girl. She then went and got Laura Southern's YouTube about this taken down. YouTube agreed that it was bullying. The woman's bullying, saying, I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to give you bad stars. I'm going to put you on Gawker. Take it off, or I'm going to get you. Bullying. The guy's totally polite while she's cussing at him for 6+ minutes. We got Nigel Farage coming up. We got Lord Monken. But after Farage is on for like 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to get to all of this. Now, they've put her YouTube back up, I guess, but Laura_Southern, Annalise, this feminist lady, said to her, say bye-bye to your account. Say bye-bye in French to your YouTube channel. Ha-ha, you bully. You're bullying people. YouTube's bullying people's free speech that cover what a bully you are. And you look at her, she keeps saying, you're so entitled. You're a bully to the guy sitting there being nice. You could teach a college course in psychology on projection. The whole story's projection. Laura Southern puts out a video showing this outrageous garbage. And then we have Ashley Beckford out at the Gay Pride Parade. And the people are even stupider than in the Mark Dice videos where they don't know who Joe Biden is. I mean, we're not bullying you. You're enslaving us by your ignorance. Your invincible ignorance. Your invincible stupidity. Your invincible arrogance. Let's play some of the Gay Pride Parade here in Austin, Texas. I mean, frighteningly scary people. Here it is.
I believe it is time for America to produce a female president because she has a true love for American. She look at her eyes. She's have an ego eyes. She's a woman of destiny. It is time for women to rule America and show the right direction. Hillary Clinton is the right lady, right person, right president for America. Yes.
Wrong. Hillary Clinton has been a lying racist for her entire life.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. She's part of the Democratic Party from FDR to LBJ to Bill Clinton and the crime bill.
They think not listening is good.
True love for America.
That's right. She does not have a true love for America. Trump has a true love for America.
She's not faking. No, she has true love for America.
What about Haiti? Hillary Clinton have true love for Haiti when the Clinton Foundation stole all that money from Haiti. Okay, her handlers are advising her not to speak anymore. She's shouting something. We have something ununderstandable.
And there's signs and people saying Trump doesn't like gay people. The complete opposite.
By the way, in 1972, she went to South Texas and she registered Hispanic voters and she stumped for McGovern. Get your facts right.
Listen, I have my facts right.
Well, of course she's doing race politics.
The bottom line is, Hillary is part of the Democratic Party, which has been systematically bringing down the black community for a long time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, is that so?
It's true.
No. Okay, well, maybe. Hey, but we're working it out, girl. Can you come to meetings and stuff and give them... We just put forward the most progressive...
Who is Joe Biden?
Somebody for San Diego.
Who is the vice president right now under Obama?
Oh, probably, oh my gosh, Hillary? I don't know. No, she's running for, yeah, I don't know.
No. Who is Joe Biden?
Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Don't give
Joe
it away.
Biden. Oh, Joe Biden? Joe Budden?
No, I've been hearing about this Joe Biden guy for the last couple years. Who is he?
I thought he was the, I don't know, someone in office. Who cares? I don't know.
Oh, okay, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's get stoned, huh?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Who's Joe Biden?
Wouldn't know.
What is Joe Biden best known for?
Being a politician.
Oh, specifically, what role does he have?
I can't say. I'm not sure.
He has a certain position. What is it?
Vice President.
Vice President?
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
No, you're not sure. Okay. We're in trouble. Who's the vice president right now?
Honestly, I do not know.
Are you an American? Hold on.
I am an American because we live in America.
And so you're free to be as ignorant as hell then, I guess?
We're not ignorant, just we're supposed to be free, right?
So your brain is free from thoughts then, or?
Not free from thoughts, just, you know, just...
Hold on. Who's the vice president right now?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Hey, I'm the wrong person to interview.
Okay.
I've not been in the election.
What position is he in right now?
I have no clue.
Joe Biden's job. What does Joe Biden do for a job?
I have no clue.
I keep hearing about this Joe Biden guy. What's up with that?
I have no idea about Joe Biden. Who is he?
That's the question I'm asking you.
I have no idea. Yeah. Probably, I don't know.
Well, don't give it away. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for you to think of an answer. Go.
Joe Biden. Race car driver?
Nope. Guess again.
Sports figure, Joe Biden.
All right, let's stop right there. There's more. It's on Infowars.com right now and MarkDice.com. Now, Ashley Beckford, we've got hours of this, but I want to just finish up the clip we were playing earlier at the Austin Gay Pride Parade where there's gay people and their supporters running around thinking Trump's out to get them. When even the Washington Post said yesterday Hillary lost a big chance, not even making that part of her speech. And then Trump's trying to bring everybody together just under nationalism at a Republican event. I mean, that was unprecedented. This shows how he's trying to create unity, but first you have to have a nation to have that unity. The globalists are breaking the unity by ending the nation state. And they admit they're in crisis, but here's the rest of that report we were airing from Austin.
I would love to find out what...
Hi, Alex Jones. Hello, how are you?
I would love to know what they're going to do, what Hillary's going to do, and the Democratic Party is going to do for LGBT community and the black community.
Hillary Clinton is going to make sure that we're not walking around with these police officers shooting us and killing us, acting like we do not deserve to live. That's what she's going to do. Additionally, she's going to make sure that we have affordable education, that our black people who have been denied education by Republicans for years to get affordable education, affordable health care, honey, everything, honey. So, Alex Jones, you need to delete your YouTube channel, delete your account, and delete your life. Toodles.
No.
So I need to die. I need to have no free speech. Well, George Soros agrees. He says take over the internet. Don't let any patriots have speech at all. Only let his organizations have speech. That's in the emails, and have the UN run our police. And it's all being announced. Oh, you didn't get your free health care? Oh, you need Hillary to get the free health care. You didn't get it under Obama, but he promised you that free health care. And the Republicans passed the Civil Rights Act, and the Republicans fought the Civil War, which wasn't really over slavery, but at least they added that in there. You don't know that probably. You probably don't even know who Abraham Lincoln is. But you know how to say, I need to delete my life. I need to die. Wow, that's amazing. We're getting Lord Monckton lined up to talk about the state of world government, the fact that nationalism is rising. Nigel Farage, also from the UK, is scheduled to join us at the start of the next hour. Perfect time to have the head of UKIP on the broadcast. Just look at these headlines, how these tie together. Video. In fact, we need to get this video. Bill Clinton said rebuild Detroit with Syrian refugees, not with industry that brings workers in, skilled people, but with uncompatible jihadis that invaded Syria, almost all of them Shia, Sunni, not letting any Shiites or Christians in, basically, bringing in the radical Muslims, putting them in charge. This is a deal made to sell out the country. Look at how that ties in with this garbage. And they're bringing in, I think, millions of Syrian refugees, which are really just Islamic invaders from all over the world, sheep-dipped through Syria, because they called it tens of thousands in Germany when it was 1 million. When they called it 100,000, it was 2 million. When they called it 1 million, it was 3 million. Now it's 5 million. In Europe, probably more in the last 3.5 years, 4 years. And then you tie that together with Google hides popular Hillary Clinton health searches. They're doing it again, Breitbart reporting. They're hiding the Clinton death list. Until now, they've had to allow it to be the top search again because of so much pressure. They are pushing with everything they've got. Meanwhile, George Soros, the emails came out. They were leaked. It was covered in the news yesterday. Said he wants the UN to take control of the internet. He said that 3 years ago in the email that was leaked. That was hacked. Well, guess what? Next month, he gets his wish. It's handed over to the UN. Wow. It's almost like this guy runs the planet or something. He's at least one of the top generals. And it goes on and on and on and on. It only gets worse. Leaked memo reveals Soros' plan for federally controlled police that take the orders from the United Nations. That's an email from years ago again. And guess what? The Justice Department came out 6 months ago and said, we're going to set up in every major city with Justice Department money, UN offices that are going to oversee your local governments and police. The UN bullying your local government and the police to submitting to their directives to be political commissars like in the old Soviet Union and target their political enemies, just like George Soros said. We won't let our political detractors or nationalists be on the internet. Total totalitarianism. That's what totalitarianism means. Total control by a central system run by weirdos with chips on their shoulders that want to destroy Western civilization. And their followers don't even know who Joe Biden is. We played the clip earlier in San Diego. That's not even in that liberal of an area compared to L.A. And they don't, we're not cherry picking here. They don't know who Joe Biden is. Devastating, devastating brainwashing. Now let's get to this article on Infowars.com right now. This is stunning. I'm going to play most of this audio and video here, but also narrate over it. Video, idiot social justice warrior triggered by dashboard hula girl. You know, that's a good blur, but I want to change the headline because I want to describe what's really happening here. Snake-like bully harasses Lyft driver over dashboard hula girl. Or just, I mean, this woman is dripping with hatred. And there's some poor Asian guy driving the car, very well-spoken, being totally nice. It's a group Lyft where you get, you know, discounts and people can carpool. It's a social, you know, justice car. Guy's probably a liberal, I'm just guessing. By the way, I want to get the driver on so he can put out his side of the story, but he's totally polite. Oh, by the way, there is cussing on this, but it's only once or twice. We'll have to, I guess, just delay it on air for the radio audience because I want to go with it. Oh, you guys already bleeped it. I don't know how you get so much done. Bravo to the crew. I mean, the best crew I've ever had by light years. It's just amazing. True blessing. And they're so disconnected, so entitled, that this is the definition of projection. She's bullying him. She's in his face. She's saying, I'm going to ruin you financially. I'm going to give you 1 star. I'm going to go after you. You're a bad person. You're a racist. You're horrible. You're a white male. And they're in the dark car and he goes, I'm Asian, like the hula girl. And she says that Hawaii's a continent. No, Cupcake, North America and Africa and Asia and South America are. Let me explain it to you. And there's 7 of them. Australia's one. It's also a country now. That's one of the few times, like when they say, Africa is a nation. No, it's a continent. But you can actually say of Australia, it's a nation. But the point is that we're getting at here is that this woman is totally mind blown. And it turns out she's a social justice warrior, feminist leader out in L.A. This is one of their brain bugs. And by brain bug, that's a la Starship Troopers. This is supposedly one of the smart ones. The smart ones can hardly talk. But they've got this bullying nature. It's like the weird black people. And I say weird because they're really dressed weird and acting like really like robots. They come up to this white kid who's trying to adopt, I guess, some type of popular black culture. I don't think it's that. And are bullying him at the San Francisco University and start beating him up, basically, and saying, you're not allowed to film us, even though they come up to him filming him because he's stolen black culture. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. They're saying, be bullies, be evil, be bad. It's virtuous. No, when the KKK harasses a black person, it's not virtuous. And when black people do it, it's not virtuous. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's weird. It's horrible. But this is what the media pushes. This is how evil they are. An irate social justice warrior films an exchange. She's proud of this. She's so disconnected. She posts this, and then Laura Southern picks it up, and then she goes and files a complaint for community guidelines. And they say, yes, this woman's a bully, YouTube says. We're going to suspend Laura Southern's account. Dear Annalise, YouTube says back to her, after further review of the content, we've determined that Laura Southern's channel violates community guidelines, and we are upholding our decision to suspend the channel. Millions and millions of views, a journalist on national TV, doesn't matter. We appreciate your assistance. Gil White, YouTube diversity team. And they've got people like her, other bullies, sitting in there. We've had our YouTube channel with close to 1 billion views on it taken down before, then have to start filing a lawsuit, and YouTube puts it back up. I've had to put them on notice with lawyers repeatedly. Okay, we're going to have it. And they say, oh, well, that's their website. They own it. No, they're saying it's a free commons. I bring value there. They make money off of it. And then they want to say I'm a racist. And that's where you got to watch it. You got to let the racists be on there, folks, because they're going to take everybody's free speech by defining it as that. But notice they don't take down the KKK. They don't take down the jihadist things. And you know what? They shouldn't. When they're calling for violence, they should. But just... what's crazy is it never does anything to her. And it's his right under his contract as a cab driver to ask someone nicely to get out of the car, which he does. I'm going to skip this break. This is so important. Here is the audio and the video, and listen to the arrogance, listen to the narcissism, listen to the relish she has, hag-like. I don't mean she's physically old. I mean, she is like a witch. As an archetype, just, I'm going to get you. Oh, you take that down. She wants to make him do something. And they're always widening what's racist and evil so they can always get to be your boss. This is political control. This is Maoist. And while she's up there, let's go through the article while we're playing the video and show the article, show photos of this lady. I want to offer this woman a chance to come on this show. You say, I'm a bully, I bet. I'm predicting you're going to say I'm a bully. No. Let's see how this works. When you attack us and you attack our free speech and you take down people's YouTube channels, you're a bully, sweetheart. You're a bully. And the internet is going to eat you alive because that's what it does to tyrants like Hillary Clinton and yourself. That's why the whole world's hacking Hillary Clinton. Because the thinkers, the people with 150, 60, 70 IQs, for every race, color, and creed, know the horror they're seeing. And they know who's got to be stood up against. Comprende? But I love how when the rest of the people in the car start responding back, because it's liberal, Southern California, it's when we learn he's not a white male. Now, if he was a white male, it'd be all right. Because anything can be done, including killing white males. We played a social justice warrior earlier saying, I need to just die. I need to delete myself, my website, I need to disappear into the memory hole, like Winston Smith in 1984. At the Chestnut Cafe. I need to be shot up into the atmosphere as smoke. I need to be obliterated, disintegrated. Because you're virtuous. And the whole world's a big safe space where you don't work, you don't do anything, you just run around bitching all day and finding something. Some guy working 12, 14 hours a day out driving a cab, probably going to college, probably got another job, might have a family. It's crazy. It's bizarre. And YouTube agrees. Can we check if Laura Southern's site's back up? I saw the video of her responding and saying her site had been taken down, but is her site itself back up? Maybe she had to go somewhere else. I mean, this is crazy, people. Let's start playing the most horrific audio ever heard. Now, this is nails on a chalkboard. When you hear this voice, this is a scramble brain. This is a bully. This is an aggressor. This is a memory holder. This is an anti-language person, an anti-liberal who just knows that she is a bully and who wants to tie into this and wants to wreak some havoc. It's not even like a woman in a swimsuit bobbling. It's just a cute little hula girl, skirt down to almost to her knees, 4 or 5 inches tall, dancing there on the dashboard. Something friendly to make the cab feel good, to be nice, But he's an effing white male. The only problem is he's not a white male. And that's when the script gets flipped. Let's go ahead and start the nightmare.
You thought that was adorable. You didn't think about like the pillaging of the continent of Hawaii.
I didn't even know there was pillaging.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Hold on, I didn't mean to mess it up. Back it up. I'm not going to narrate it first. Okay, let's start over. You need to hear this. This is the continent of Hawaii. Okay? Okay. She wants him to lose his job. She wants to downrate him. She's going to destroy his life. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to get you. You're going to be on Gawker. I'm going to socially shame you. I'm going to bully you. I'm going to cyberbully you. I'm going to take you, giving me a service, doing nothing to me, and destroy you on the internet. And then if anyone criticizes my bullying, I'm going to have them shut down as a bully. This woman takes the all-time cake. She is beyond Abe Skrillex to the next power, who says, you don't get to have an opinion. You're an effing white male. When he's a white male. These people are from another planet. They've taken the scrambled brain TV Hot Pocket folks, and they have now told them that they are white knights there to save the planet. But really, they're just spoiled, rotten 5-year-olds. They act like Trigglypuff, all of them. They act like 3-year-olds. They act like toddlers. And this woman, we've now seen video and photos of her online, acts and talks like a toddler. In fact, while we're playing this video and audio, again, I want to show some photos of this woman. Here it is.
You thought that was adorable. You didn't think about like the pillaging of the continent of Hawaii.
I didn't even know there was pillaging.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so you won't get rid of the doll then, because that was like really cute thing that you found at Goodwill.
No, I'm not gonna not get rid of it because of that. I just didn't realize it was offensive to anybody.
But so obviously, like you as like a white male, you were like the least like.
But now you're judging me. You're assuming where I'm from.
No, I'm not. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying like that perhaps like you might be the person who is least hurt in this situation. I'm a passenger in your car. Like that doll is offensive to me, but you don't want to take it down because you like found it at Goodwill and it was like a good find.
I really don't know what it is over here. You want me to
She orders him to take it down. The bullying starts here.
Yeah, no, I do want you to because it's actually deeply offensive. No, I do want you to take it down.
Alright, well, I mean, obviously you're going to give me a 1 star, but I'm not taking it down, so I'm sorry about that.
I'm going to do worse than give you a 1 star.
Whatever you like.
I'm going to do worse.
If you want me to drop you off over here or at the next exit, I can do that, but...
No, I would like you to take me to my destination.
I will do that, but
Thank
I
you.
don't think my beautiful lady Lola is offending you.
That's okay. You're going to be on Gawker.
I'm on Gawker?
No, you will be published on Gawker. And you'll be like the next internet meme. It's going to be super funny.
No, you are, lady.
Yeah. I mean, like, God forbid, like, anyone take your special Hawaiian doll away from you.
I mean, what's more confusing is how offended you're getting by that.
Because it's a thing that actually affects my life and a thing that doesn't affect your life.
I'm Asian as well, so...
Okay, so what is your Asian heritage?
It's irrelevant, but you're trying to...
No, it's not irrelevant. It's actually super relevant.
Really? Well,
yeah, so
hey,
which
pause.
part of it is not irrelevant?
What if he was Hawaiian and he liked Hawaiian culture? But there's this idea where you can't have anything in your car if you're not... I mean, one time I bought a shirt because I liked how it looked. It was a Brazilian soccer shirt at Target. It was like $10, really soft fabric. Had the symbol of Brazil on it, and then the year that they had, the World Cup or whatever it was. And I've actually had Brazilians, who seem like pretty nice folks on average, come up to me at Barton Springs and other places and say, "What are you doing wearing that? Are you from Brazil?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Well, what are you wearing it for?" I'm just like, "It's a cool looking shirt, So it's tribalism is what it is. But imagine she really thinks it's meant to offend her that it's a hula girl that's just up there moving on the dashboard. That's why Seinfeld's daughter said girls and boys together is sexist. It's the end of humans as we know it. It's turning us completely against each other. It's brown bags are racist. It's just our language is nothing but fighting with each other and seeing things that make us angry. Let's continue.
You thought that was adorable. You didn't think about like the pillaging of the continent of Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so you won't get rid of the doll then, because that was like really cute thing that you found at Goodwill.
No, I'm not going to not get rid of it because of that. I just don't realize it was offensive anyway.
But so obviously, like you as like a white male, you were like the least. Did you say it was pathetic? Can I have your name, please? Jade. And your last name? Green. Thank you.
My mother's passengers are fighting. I'm so excited. Wow, you're the first bad experience I've ever had with Lyft, and it's unfortunate that it has to be like that.
I'm excited.
I'm a very respectful person, and the fact that you're taking offense to that, like, I'll take a picture
That's
of it.
a disrespectful object that you have in your car, and whether you're Asian or not, you should be considerate to the fact that you might have passengers that don't find that thing to be.
Off of my dashboard when it's super glued.
No, I just said like you can set it down for a second. It might be not amusing to all passengers. You're going to experience this again, by the way. And so I hope that from this lesson, like today,
you're being rude, actually.
No, I'm not being rude.
There's one way to tell somebody something, and there's another way in which how you're doing it, and you're not being pleasant.
Oh, because I wasn't nice enough to you?
I've been pleasant to you this whole time.
I wasn't nice enough to you for this thing. That's fine. I've been video recording the entire time. I'm excited.
That's cool, and I'm being respectful to you.
No, you're not. You have been actually very rude and extremely entitled.
Hit pause. She is excited that she gets to be violated by the hula doll and his rudeness and his evil when she's doing it all. She's doing the bullying. She's engaged in it all. But it gets better. YouTube agrees with her and says, you posted the video, but if people have comments on it, they're bullies. At the diversity team, a bunch of other anti-free speech authoritarians that should go to North Korea. Because that's where this type of stuff goes on. What is wrong with you people? Let's go back to the clip.
I'm sorry that my Hawaiian lady is offending you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you have no consideration for actual Hawaiian people who don't want to be a bobblehead item in your car while you're driving for Lyft. You f***ing selfish, dumbass idiot.
Okay, I'm being rude.
You are being rude. You have no connection to this culture.
Notice when he apologized.
It's a cute little bubble.
To de-escalate, she attacked.
That you don't know anything about.
This is the weak, trying to be strong.
Thank you very much for your opinion.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're
Maybe
welcome.
We'll think about it tomorrow when you wake up in the morning.
Morning.
Thank you so much. I'm ending this ride right now, so if you'd like to call another Lyft, you can go ahead and
No,
do
you can
that.
take me all the way to my house.
You don't have to. It's
No,
my
yes,
car.
you
I'm
do.
confirming the
Yes,
drop-off.
you do.
Sidewalk.
You guys being married to this woman?
Wonderful night.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm so excited. Can I have your name again?
Nope. Have a great
Yes,
night.
I can.
No,
Can I
you-
have your name again? Well, I'll just stay here then.
Well, then, oh my God, this is my car. Can you please get out of it?
No, I won't. Call the police. Call 911.
Okay.
About how I won't leave your car.
You would.
Can you please?
No, I can, but you can give me your first and last name. Here's what I'll do instead.
Drives off. And she cackles.
Holy sh**. The weirdest night of my entire life.
The weirdest night.
And he could not get away fast enough so that I couldn't get his license plate.
I was bullying him and laughing like a witch, and I was going to destroy him. And he asked me to get out and left, and I had to go file complaints and have journalist websites saying it down because I just wanted to bully and hurt him on the internet. And then people said I was wrong, so I took to YouTube. Let me tell you what happened, lady. Pinhead. You're a dangerous person. People like you are going to bring us into total tyranny. So you jack with our websites, our stuff, I will slap you with a real lawsuit, not because I'm a bully, but because I stand up to bullies. Whether it's Hillary Clinton or the New World Order, stay with us. It's all about dehumanizing us. And that's what socialists and statists do everywhere, whether it's the Soviet Union or Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea. Every communist system becomes a total collapse nightmare, except for China, because of the classic, hardworking, intelligent nature of the Chinese people, who are the ultimate free market folks. If you go to the cliches, they're true. They have a bifurcated system with communists on top ruling over a bunch of slaves, basically, and free market allowed in certain areas to basically take over the world. The ultimate merger of crony capitalism with communism. Lord Christopher Monckton is joining us till about 5 after the next hour. Then Nigel Farage, kind of a Anglophile type transmission today, because so much of the resistance against the New World Order is coming out of the British Isles. Lord Monckton is the former top advisor. He doesn't brag about that, but if you look it up, to Margaret Thatcher. Also been a major newspaper editor, a scientist, a major inventor, and, of course, someone who is the leading person publishing scientific papers, some of the most read in the world, or the most read in the world, on the fact that anthropogenic global warming is a fraud. The problem is, and it's now been in even the Associated Press, 14 attorney generals and governors have been meeting in secret, looking to arrest prominent man-made climate change deniers. And they're actually on the news now pushing this. Now, I wanted to get him on last week, but he was too busy to talk about this meme saying that we don't want Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. I mean, I would elect a libertarian, conservative, nationalist, patriot, free market woman in a heartbeat. I think I'd love to have a woman president. I'd like it. I don't want a kingpin whose emails just came out that she's actually was paying access for others to get to the Chinese president. This has now reached espionage level. That's confirmed. George Soros has come out in the new emails that have been hacked, and he admits they're real emails saying the UN will run the U.S. police and the UN will run the internet. These are from 3 years ago, and they'll censor critics of his foundations and not allow us to have voices. So they want to arrest us. They want to shut down the web. Hillary puts out fundraisers 2 weeks ago, emails saying Breitbart doesn't have a right to exist and the alt-right needs to be shut down. And then she comes out and names us by name. Alex Jones, Breitbart, Drudge Report. They're coming after us. They're in the news almost every day saying arrest Monckton. These people, we go down to the Democrat crowds down here nicely to interview them, and they start saying they want to kill me. So Lord Monckton, you've always called them Nazi-like, and people overuse that, but in this case, it's really true. I don't think people realize what's happening. In fact, are they doing this because they're panicking? Are they doing this because they believe this is their time to take over? What is the arrogance? Is it a put on? Is it real? You're a real psychological expert on this. I want to spend some time on powerful women in history, and one of the most, Margaret Thatcher, an incredibly great lady who stood up to Bilderberg, who stopped the euro early on, but after she got out, they pushed it through. I mean, a true nationalist, a true smart, amazing, eloquent woman versus this brand of Samantha Powers and man-hating, nation-hating, wealth-hating, war-loving. I mean, it's bizarre. So I want to talk about that and also some of the latest developments. Scienceandpublicpolicy.org. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, and let's start with women at the top in politics. What is interesting is that in the United Kingdom, it was not just a member of the Conservative Party who became Britain's first Prime Minister, but actually a real Conservative, because most of the Conservative Party members in Parliament are not really Conservatives at all. But Margaret Thatcher was a Conservative, and she became Britain's first woman Prime Minister. So the idea that somehow people are opposed to Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman, I think are very far from the truth. I think they're opposed to Hillary Clinton, and rightly, because she's a crook. And in law, it doesn't matter whether you're a male or a female. If you're a crook, you're a crook. And the hacked emails that are gradually coming out show that she is and was and will probably continue in office to be a crook if the people are unwise enough to elect her. And so, no, there is no prejudice against women on our side of the debate. Far from it, as you have just so very eloquently said. You'll elect a woman provided that she is libertarian and is in favor of peace, low taxes, and none of the hideous totalitarian experiments that you showed in that clip before this segment began. The idea that in Britain now we're using babies as fuel in hospitals. Now this, of course, is the ultimate ghastliness that even Dr. Mengele didn't think up in Nazi Germany. And what is astonishing is the lack of self-criticality on the part of the communist or fascist left, because, of course, the communists and the fascists are really two sides of the same hard left coin. In fact, if one goes back to China that you mentioned earlier, the early Chinese imperial philosophers said, right, there are the big divide in politics, and it still is the big divide today, thousands of years later, is between the totalitarians, they call them the legalists, and the Confucians, we call those the libertarians. So the totalitarians versus the libertarians.
And now the totalitarians have learned to claim they're the real liberals, but they're not.
No, of course they're not. I mean, the word liberal doesn't apply to the likes of Hillary Clinton. It doesn't apply to the so-called Democrats. Indeed, the word Democrat doesn't apply to the Democrats either. They're not Democrats. They don't believe in elections. They're merely a stepping stone on the way to total totalitarian control. You just have to look at the number of treaties that Mr. Obama has busily been trying to put in place.
Unelected.
Well, Euro is a good example. We, thank goodness, stayed out of that. I worked very, very hard to make sure that we did.
Yeah, I should have added you're a major leader of that as well. And, of course, it's not about credit, but people need to know why you're so derided and attacked. I mean, you were like just as important as, say, our George Washington in our beginning in this fight against the New World Order. I mean, it's epic to be able to talk to you about.
I get you everywhere, but the truth is that these battles do have to be fought, and they have to be fought very hard, because the international totalitarian left are hoping that they can take over. Why, for instance, are these 14 attorney generals conspiring, for it is a conspiracy, to try to move against that provision in your constitution which guarantees free speech, by saying that those of us who are doing academic research, and quite good academic research at that, say I, suggesting that they've over-egged the pudding on global warming, should be locked up, should be imprisoned for daring to have a point of view other than that of the totalitarian state. Now, this takes us right back to Hitler, and there's no point in not saying so. Of course, they will immediately say, oh, yes, whenever the right get fed up, they say that the socialists are that Hitler was a socialist. Well, yes, he was. It was the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. Of course, he was left-wing.
That's the name of it. And then the leftist lied and said he was right-wing. But let's expand on this briefly, because I want to get back to Margaret Thatcher. I've never had you on to talk about her, and sometime when you've got a full hour, I know we had some mix-ups today, I'd like to just spend a whole hour on her. She's so interesting when this election's over. What would Margaret Thatcher think today? I mean, you're somebody I know from reading newspaper articles that would advise her sometimes hours a day. She really, you were one of her main confidants. She really trusted you. She was a really smart lady, and obviously she was smart to trust you. You're a really smart guy, obviously. What type of person was Margaret Thatcher? Why was she willing to buck the entire globalist system? And why don't we see more leaders like her? Why don't we see more men like her?
I think the reason is that in politics, it's much government, by its nature, tends to be on the totalitarian rather than on the libertarian side. Government is about control, sometimes for good ends, usually for bad and selfish ends, but it is about control. And therefore, there is a tendency in every governing system to move towards totalitarianism. And one of the exciting things about the constitutional developments that began in the era of Magna Carta and carried on steadily, and of course the American Revolution is part of that tradition of transferring power back from the totalitarian center and into the hands of the people. The American Revolution was fundamentally a libertarian exercise, as was Magna Carta, and as was the election of Margaret Thatcher and her political triumph. These movements towards libertarianism were and are and continue to be valuable. But of course, the totalitarians don't like this. They don't like democracy. They don't like the idea that the people can have their say. They're furious that the people, by a substantial majority of more than 1 million votes, voted down the European Union and voted for Brexit. Why did we do this? Because we wanted once again to be free. I was talking to a cab driver on the way to a radio interview shortly before the vote, and he said, I'm going to vote to stay in. And I said, may I suggest why you shouldn't? And he said, yes. And I told him how an EU law is made, which is exactly how the left want to make laws everywhere. No democratic input whatsoever, the whole thing done by commissars behind closed doors. And at the end of this brief account by me of how a law is actually made in the European Union, he said, right, I'm voting the other way. I'm voting to get out, and I'm going to tell all my friends they've got to do the same to save our country from this totalitarian takeover. So there is now a real battle going on, a battle which you've been fighting with more than usual prescience and still more than usual vigor for many decades, which is between those who wish to shut down all opposition And this time, not just on a national, but on a global level. And that's the significance of Obama and his treaty making. That's the significance of Obama and China ganging up together. Come on, we're all communists together. Let's lock the West into this climate nonsense by ratifying the climate treaty. Now, of course, Obama can't actually ratify the climate treaty because your Senate has to approve it.
Sure, Lord Monckton, I want to get to that in a moment, but since I was about to interrupt when you led into this, I see articles every day in the Economist, the Financial Times of London, the New York Times, in fact, the Washington Post. I've got a stack of them here. We're not here hyping the fact that this is an epic battle. Literally, scienceandpublicpolicy.org, Mark Moreno and Climate Depot, DrudgeReport.com, InfoWars, WorldNet Daily, Daily Caller, Breitbart are now the new media. We get more traffic than the mainstream media. They know that. They're scared. We are the legitimate media. We're not perfect, but we really want to tell the truth. We're nationalist. We're not into scams. We don't want to join the authoritarians. I know you could have joined them. I could have joined them. They admit that we are now defeating them at this point. They are in full crisis mode and say we must get Hillary elected. Brexit and UKIP and Nigel Farage and Lord Monckton is spreading everywhere. If the next domino falls, this is the Washington Post, we're over. The G20, as you know, is set to meet, and their new focus is nationalism from Spain to the UK to the United States to Australia rising. They are in panic mode. So I want listeners to understand, we're not just sitting here telling you all this and saying we've got a fighting chance, but the enemy's going to strike back. This is epic. And just as you were finally able to reach that cab driver in a few minutes, wake him up with the outrageousness of the authoritarianism of the EU, what is that blow that will finally take them down? Because I know they're winning at some level because they're still in control and they have the money, but they're losing the intellectual battle. What I'm getting at is, how are they going to strike back? What do we do, Lord Monckton? Because we are now standing in huge history. Our listeners are just as important as we are in history. This information war is so important, what you just illustrated.
Now, we have a mechanism which is very useful in the United Kingdom. I've used it against the BBC. I've used it against government departments. It's called judicial review of administrative action. It's not particularly expensive, provided you know how to work the system. And it allows, if a public authority oversteps the mark, and that's what totalitarians do, they'll always go beyond what the law allows. Here is Obama saying, I'm going to ratify the climate treaty personally. Now, in Britain, if a prime minister said, I'm going to ratify a treaty, and the prime minister didn't have the power to ratify a treaty, I would be able to go straight to the court. It would take precedence over all other business of the administrative court, which is a division of the High Court in London, and say, no, she can't do that, and it would be stopped. Now, you do have a similar system in the United States, but the libertarians are not always as smart as they should be about using the existing mechanisms that are available to you to stop, for instance, outrageous oversteppings of the mark by the EPA or by Obama saying he's going to ratify a treaty he has no
Sure, so what do we do then? How do we strike back?
So what you do is you choose your issue carefully. Let us suppose that Obama does eventually try to purport to ratify personally a treaty which your Constitution plainly states can only be ratified by a 2/3 majority of the Senate. Then all it takes is one person to go to the Federal District Court on judicial review and say the president has exceeded his authority and I want this looked at and then stopped. And that will bring the whole nonsense
All right, let me
down.
expand on that. That was done by the Texas Attorney General. He was then set up and indicted, but it's a fake case. He's doing okay. Literally at a dinner party, he just talked about a company he was in years before and said, I think it's a good investment. Oh my gosh, he's so evil. The Justice Department comes after him. I'm going to skip this break, folks. It's too important. We're going to lose all the free speech if we don't do this. This battle's total. And then the Supreme Court and others ruled, okay, Obama is not allowed to just ignore law and let illegals in and not even test them for diseases. Stop. Yeah. And Obama said, I'm not stopping. What do you do at that point when he is a naked Tyrannosaurus?
Well, he is then in contempt of court, and you go back to the court for an order requiring him to stop. And once you
That's right. Where is the Supreme Court on an injunction or Congress? With that court order could be prosecuting Obama, impeachment.
If you go to the court and you say you've made an order, Obama has decided to flout it, if that's what's happened here, and I haven't looked at this.
Well, the word is Scalia was going to rule against him, and then
if that's what's happened, then he is in contempt of court. And if you go back to the court and you say, You gave this order. He is ignoring it. Then they can issue an order for his arrest and imprisonment until he agrees to comply with the order of the court. And that's what you should do. It's not expensive. It is your right. And the court, if it has made a plain judgment and he is plainly flouting it, has no choice, even if it's stacked with all his cronies, it has no choice but to order his arrest. And that's what you've got to start to do. I mean, I did this a few years ago when the British government was trying to pass a thing called the Maastricht Treaty, which was the latest stage then of locking us into this EU monstrosity. And I discovered that against Parliament's instructions, they'd been spending taxpayers' money on various aspects of the Maastricht Treaty, even though we hadn't at that time ratified it. And this was contrary to the law. I took them to the Court of Session in Edinburgh, which is the equivalent of the Administrative Court in London, and the Attorney General for Scotland, the Lord Advocate as he's called, had to come personally to try to defend himself in court. And in the end, he won on a technicality because the EU budget at line 14,973 for the previous year had overruled the British Parliament's decision, and the British Parliament had never read this document, so it didn't even know. And on that technicality, we lost the case. But then they came after me for their expenses. And I said no. And they said, you've got to pay them because you came second. And I said, no, I won't. Instead, I want to know the date of the Lord's Advocate's proposed resignation from office. And they said, what do you mean? I said, those are my instructions. I told my solicitors, you tell them that. So they told the Lord Advocate's office that I wanted to know when he was going to resign.
And the point is, you made them admit that Al Gore's movie was a fraud, so they stopped showing it in UK schools. You've done this scores of times. Let me ask you this then. And by the way, I'll put it on screen if you didn't know, because it didn't get a lot of attention. The Supreme Court 3 months ago ruled him just ignoring law and saying the border's wide open and ordering them to ship illegals in to God knows where is illegal. He has continued. I can put the CNN on screen, Lord Monckton, so you can see that.
Then, as I say, let me just finish this story, because when I told them that he'd have to resign, they backed off and said, okay, we won't ask for our costs. They knew he was acting against the law by demanding costs from me, and he couldn't get away with it, or he would have gone to prison. And it's the same with Mr. Obama. If the immigration decision of the Supreme Court is sufficiently clear, and if it is sufficiently clear that he is in breach of an order of the Supreme Court,
it says he's breaking the law,
then all you have to do, if he continues to break the law, is to go back to the Supreme Court and say he's still doing it, and ask for them to order his arrest and to be brought before them.
And I mean, to their credit, even though Scalia was dead,
yes,
the split court still said Obama was wrong. So, I mean, it's very clear.
So what you must now do is stop simply bloviating and start acting. You have to do what I did, take them to court. And it's really simple. The mechanism in this case is that if the Supreme Court has issued an order of which he is in breach, then all any citizen has to do is to go before that court, say, here is the evidence that he is in breach, and I want it stopped. And they are then obliged to order his arrest. They are obliged to order him to attend the court, obliged to give him his chance to have his say and say why he thought it was appropriate to ignore an order of the Supreme Court. And if they are not satisfied with his explanation, and if he continues to refuse to back off, they can and should, and if you want my guess, will send him to jail. That's how you fight back against these people. Use their own mechanisms against them.
I agree. And I guess I could go file it. I don't want to just bloviate here, but who should go file this? It should be a governor?
Any citizen. Any citizen has the same right as any other citizen when there is a breach of a court order as serious as this. Any citizen has the right. Okay,
Lord Monckton, we're going to go to break in a moment, so just hold for just one moment. But first, I want to just add to listeners and viewers, we're in an information war. It's very important to support the broadcast, spread the word. Internet censorship is kicking in. Don't take this show or scienceandpublicpolicy.org for granted. Spread those papers, those articles. We're in an info war. Show people the facts. Take advantage of our Hillary for Prison T-shirts at cost, $9.95, shipping included. That's at cost with shipping, $9.95. BioTrue Selenium, amazing cofactor in the body. You must have it for electrochemical activity. 20% off based on mustard seed, the best formula out there. Vitamin Mineral Fusion. incredible multivitamin with all the amino acids and cofactors, great tasting fruit punch, absolutely organic and natural. 20% off, InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. But whatever you do, get that Hillary for President shirt because it's shaking the media up. Okay, getting back to you, Lord Monckton. What else is on the table here? What other big events are happening? What else are we looking at that you're tracking?
Right, here is a very interesting one. On the 8th and 9th of September in London, at the instigation of Professor Niklas Mörner, the world's greatest expert on sea level, who, like all of us, believes that the global warming thing has been vastly exaggerated, there is the London Climate Change Conference, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 8th and 9th of September in Conway Hall, which is in London. Conway Hall, you can find it on the web very easily. Just turn up on the day and come into that conference. We have professors from all over the world, leading doctors and professors of science, and we will be looking at various scientific aspects of this climate change question. I will be chairing the open session of the conference. I'll be concluding the final session on the 9th, which is the second day of the conference, by making a major announcement about errors that have been identified in the computer models that have produced these wildly exaggerated predictions of global warming. These errors are serious, and once the errors are exposed, that's the end of the scare. So make sure you make your way to that climate change conference in London at the Conway Hall, and that is on the 8th and the 9th of September, starting at 9 a.m. Very important, you should do that.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question. It was hackers that brought out the hide the decline stuff, the fact that it was all a big scam. It's multinationals, it's Americans, it's Brits, it's Russians, you name it. But aren't hackers really the secret weapon in all this? Because what do we have to fear? We're not doing anything wrong. But these criminals like Hillary, they've got to be really freaked out.
They are running scared now, and they're running particularly scared on this climate question because the scientific argument just continues to collapse as temperatures fail to rise at anything like the previously predicted rates. And
Lord Monckton, I've got to go to break. Do 5 more minutes with us, and Nigel Farage is coming on. We're back in 70 seconds if you can, Lord Monckton. I know it's nighttime over there. I want to come back, have you finish up, and then go to Nigel Farage, the former leader of UKIP. Stay with us. Boy, there's an old saying, time will tell, Lord Monckton. The more time goes on, the more he's proven dead on. It's actually scary how the research and the papers they put out, the things they've done have been absolutely on target. We got 5 minutes left with you. Then Nigel Farage is coming on. Other points you'd like to impart to folks about the state of this attempt by the globalists to take over energy on this planet?
This is very interesting, the whole climate change thing. This is a Trojan horse by which the totalitarians everywhere are hoping to get away with setting up a global profiteering operation, very much on the Italian fascist corporatist model, where big corporations, people like Bill Gates, are brought in, people like George Soros, to come out with the same left-wing totalitarian garbage and to use their corporate power to enslave us by, in Scotland's case, we were back up in Scotland just recently, the whole countryside now is carpeted with these damn fool windmills, which are producing electricity unreliably at 5 times the normal price. But what is happening is that people are waking up to the fact that this just isn't happening as they said it would, which is why the Climate Change Conference on the 8th and 9th of September, open to any member of the public, is, and it's not expensive, is worth coming to. Because let's get back to these attorney generals. These people are effectively saying we are not going to allow freedom of academic research. We are not going to allow freedom of speech. We are going to lock people up if they say things that the left-wing Democrat establishment disagrees with. Now, this, in fact, is a very serious abuse of power on their part. And again, in Britain, I would have them straight in front of the court on judicial review if they tried that. And I think that what seems to be happening in America is that you do not exercise as vigorously or as often as we do the right to call your leaders, particularly the left-wing ones, in front of the courts where they wildly overstep the legal mark. And that's what these attorneys general are doing. They have set up what is in effect a conspiracy to circumvent that provision of the First Amendment of the Constitution that guarantees the right of free speech. And that conspiracy is illegal. It's contrary to their oaths of office, where they specifically state that they will, it's the standard form of oath of office, serve to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And again, any citizen has the right to go to his nearest police station and say, I want this looked at. And they will act baffled at first. You have to be very persistent, because they're used to chasing after people who are speeding at 1 mile an hour over the limit. They're not used to going after big governmental people like attorneys general. So you do have to kind of stiffen their resolve by just
look at how Clinton almost got taken down by people in lawsuits over Paula Jones. You're absolutely right.
Well, that's exactly the thing. You mustn't sit there passively and just wait. Going to court is, if you target it in the right way, a lot cheaper than it sometimes seems. And it's well worthwhile getting together. You could be one to organize this, Alex, a legal fighting fund. And then people like me can be organizing you for free and helping you out with the legal niceties of this round the back. And you can then make sure that various citizens come forward and one by one start challenging these increasingly flagrant, increasingly open...
Because we've all got standing. This is designed to screw us over. We've all got standing.
That's right. Everyone has standing because these are criminal matters. Remember the general rule in criminal matters, even though the Supreme Court has tried in the past to narrow the focus of who has standing in front of it, in a criminal matter, everyone has standing, because a crime is a crime not just against the state, it's against you and me.
Sure.
So you can always assert that. You can always go and
Lord
say,
Monckton, you're absolutely on target. In 30 seconds.
You want to stop.
Didn't they go too far, though, Soros, trying to rally folks to go kill police? I think that's where they went too far. I think people really woke up at that point.
I think that went too far. I think Hillary Clinton has gone too far. The whole Benghazi Gate thing still hasn't been settled. Her emails, that still hasn't been settled. More revelations still to come, I suspect. This is a very corrupt administration where the president is openly defying the law and the Supreme Court, and where the people...
You're right. Lord Monckton, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Lord Monckton. Powerful.
Isn't it funny? You know, when I came here 17 years ago, and I said that I wanted to lead a campaign to get Britain to leave the European Union, you all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? I come to you from the United Kingdom with a message of hope and a message of optimism. It's a message that says if the little people, if the real people, if the ordinary decent people are prepared to stand up and fight for what they believe in, we can overcome the big banks. We can overcome the multinationals. We saw the commentariat and we saw the polling industry doing everything they could to demoralize our campaign. On the day of the vote itself, that morning, they put us 10 points behind. And actually, they were all wrong. And they were wrong because what the Brexit campaign did is we reached those people who've been let down by modern global corporatism. We reached those people who have never voted in their lives, but believe by going out and voting for Brexit, they could take back control of their country, take back control of their borders, and get back their pride. Folks, the message is clear. The parallels are there. There are millions of ordinary Americans who've been let down, who've had a bad time, who feel the political class in Washington are detached from them, who feel so many of their representatives are politically correct parts of that liberal media elite. They feel people aren't standing up for them, and they've actually, in many cases, given up on the whole electoral process. And I think that you have a fantastic opportunity here with this campaign. You can go out. You can beat the pollsters. You can beat the commentators. You can beat Washington.
And now he joins us till the bottom of the hour, Nigel Farage, a major historical figure, just a normal businessman, a family man who 25 years ago saw their sovereignty being destroyed, didn't get elected to office till 99, now the fastest growing party, not just in the UK, but Europe. And it's just classic Renaissance, Magna Carta, 1776, whatever you want to call it. It's amazing. I've been interviewing this guy for 15 years. It's been a few years since he's been able to come on. He joins us to talk about all of this. But the parallels between he and Donald Trump, where Trump's never been in office either, are simply amazing. We're going to talk about it all. Here's the Washington Post, Financial Times, and others today saying with globalization in danger, G20 double down and are trying to defeat nationalism. They say if Hillary is defeated, it's the end of the New World Order. This is an epic time. Mr. Farage, who just recently resigned as the head of UKIP, still in the EU Parliament. Wow, talk about a David versus Goliath story. This is epic.
Well, it is. And I think the point about Brexit, Alex, is Brexit is the first victory. We've had little victories. We've had, you know, the odd election that's gone well for people in, whether it's in Germany or France or wherever it may be. But Brexit is the first strike back against this phenomenon of the big banks, the big businesses effectively owning politics, literally willfully destroying nation-state democracy, getting rid of that thing that our forebears actually fought and shed their blood to create and to preserve, our liberties, our freedoms, all of that being taken away, and suddenly, in a referendum that no one said we could win. I mean, literally, nobody thought Brexit would succeed, and we've done it. We've done it, and I think what we've done is given inspiration to freedom fighters right across the Western world.
Wow, where should we begin in the limited time we have here, Mr. Farage? The election here, how Brexit...
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Hillary, shall we?
Please do.
If you can bear it. I mean, Hillary represents everything that has gone wrong in our lives in the last couple of decades. She is a dynastic part, you know, of that class of people who have taken us into an endless series of foreign wars that I think arguably have made things worse, certainly in Libya and elsewhere, not better. She is part of that phenomenon where all that seems to matter now is corporatism. You know, the big global companies who want to set the rule books to effectively put out of business small and medium-sized competitors. They have destroyed, you know, what I believe to be proper free market capitalism, where you or I can go and set up a company, you know, and have a real chance of succeeding. And they presided over a period where the rich have got richer and where ordinary, decent working people have seen their living standards deteriorate. She represents failure. And she, of course, is completely unreconciled to the vote on Brexit, because Hillary loves the European Union. She loves these supranationalist global-type bodies. In fact, I think she sees the European Union as a prototype for an even bigger form of world government. And I would just say this to people. You know, I condemned Obama when he came to the United Kingdom during our referendum. He looked down his nose at Britain and the British people. He told us that if we dared to vote for our independence and our democracy, that America would basically throw us off the edge of a cliff, forget about everything we've done and shared together, you know, over these last few years. And I condemned Obama for doing that. So I'm not going to tell people how they should vote in the USA, but let me make it clear. If you want nothing to change at all, if you want to continue with the kind of cronyism that we see with the Clinton Foundation and everything else, if you want things to stay the same, you vote for Hillary. But if you think there's an opportunity here, particularly in the wake of Brexit, for us to start doing things differently in the Western world, then she's the last person you should vote for. And I said at the Mississippi rally, I said, I wouldn't vote for Hillary if you paid me. I said, actually, I wouldn't vote for Hillary if she paid me. And I feel pretty strongly about that.
Well, I mean, it's come out in the new WikiLeaks documents, which she admits are accurate, that she's actually was selling influence to the Chinese president. I mean, this is even beyond espionage. I don't know how she and speaking of the devil, George Soros has tried to crash your country as well and did crash the pound. If you look at this, he wants the internet to be run by the United Nations and basically the EU. He's come out now and said he wants the UN to run our police. And people laugh at that, but the UK got brought into the European Union without ever having a vote. These things are done by stealth. It's a real warning, I think, to the United States.
Oh, yes, it happens incrementally, little piece by little piece. You know, we joined, just over 40 years ago, we joined something that my parents' generation were told, don't worry your little heads. This is just about trade. It's just about jobs. It's just about being friendly with our neighbors. And bit by bit, you know, we finished up in a situation where 75% of our laws weren't even made in the Houses of Parliament. They were made in the European institutions. We finished up with a system where under the European arrest warrant, any British citizen could be extradited to Greece or Bulgaria or anywhere else without the production of prima facie evidence, which, you know, from the country that actually developed Magna Carta, it really is quite a surrender. And we finished up being banned from making our own trade relationships and our own formal relationships with any other country in the world. And it's like, the analogy, Alex, I've been given, it's like if you get a lobster, right?
Yes.
And you chuck it into a pan of hot water, it will shriek and shout and try and get out because it knows something bad's happening.
They actually shriek. Yes, they yell.
Oh, they do. No, they really do. But if you put a lobster into cold water, right, and turn on the heat, actually what happens is the lobster just gently falls asleep and finishes up being cooked. And I think that's what happened to the United Kingdom. We were put into cold water back in 1973.
You thought it was a hot tub and you went to sleep and woke up in an EU tyranny.
Yeah, and I was one of those people who 25 years ago, and I don't know quite how or why, but 25 years ago, I started looking at this, and I just said, this is wrong.
By the way, Nigel, I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but this is a part of history. You were a successful business guy, a family guy, whole 9 yards. It's been in the news. They've taken the bolts off your car's tires. Even the French police said, looked like they tried to kill you. Your airplane crashed, all this stuff. I mean, what made you 25 years ago decide to just strike out by yourself and now epically change the world? I mean, it's a success story for everybody out there.
It's actually very simple. Very, very simple indeed. You know, in every town, in every village in my country, there are memorials, war memorials, to those that fell, both in the First and Second World Wars, fighting for us to stay as an independent, free, proud, democratic nation and to stop tyranny in Europe. And I felt that what the European project was becoming was the very kind of tyranny that those before us had fought to stop. And nobody was asking me or telling me I had to put on a military uniform and carry a rifle. All I had to do was get involved and form a political party and get people to support it. And I've never wavered from that view in 25 years.
The information war, Nigel Farage, incredible. We've only got about 10 minutes left with you before we do another interview.
Yeah.
You've resigned from the party, but you're still in the EU Parliament. You're still working hard. Can you just briefly, for folks that want to know, explain, I mean, I understand that for 25 years, why you've pulled back after this huge victory.
Yeah, well, there are two reasons. One is that there are two different types of people in politics. There are those who want to be something, who want the title, who want the chauffeur-driven car, who want the, grandiose sort of stage to be on. But there are other people in politics because they're in it for a purpose. And my specific purpose was to free my country from this European project. So having achieved that goal, I said, look, I'm not retiring. I'm not moving up into the mountains and living in a tin shed. But I'm going to step back from leadership, and that's going to leave me free to make this argument not just in the United Kingdom, not just in the EU Parliament, but around other parts of the Western world. And when you and I met each other in Cleveland at the Republican convention, that was the first time in years I'd been free without having to represent a political party to go out and look around the world. And I will, as I'm talking to you tonight, I will make these arguments in the American elections, and I will go around the free world saying to people, let's take back what we've lost. The second reason, if I'm frank, is that doing this for a quarter of a century, doing a job that absorbs you 24/7,
it's exhausting.
Leaves you no time to catch a fish, leaves you no time to see your kids grow up. I'm now going to work, Alex, 50 or 60 hours a week, not 100 hours a week.
I get it, sir. I totally understand, and thank God you created UKIP. You're a model. Everything else. Look at how every EU country has a major Brexit-style movement, and the polls show that we're going to see huge victory here. So I want to talk about that in a moment, how the empire is going to strike back, how the socialists and communist bureaucrats and mega banks are going to strike back. But getting into overall what globalism is up to these days, are they crying foul and saying that they're in deep trouble as a way to get governments to desperately go along with them? Or is it accurate that they're on their heels? I mean, I've got a stack of news articles here saying U.S.-led globalism is dying. And, of course, they mean globalist-run globalism is dying.
Yeah.
With the TPP. Yeah. New World Order in trouble. Soros in trouble. I mean, they claim they're in really, really deep trouble. And I look at the facts. It looks like they are. But then I ask, how are they going to bring us into a depression? Are they going to crash our currencies again? I mean, this is the usual suspects. How is the empire going to strike back?
The empire is bewildered. The empire is befuddled. The empire still cannot, just as I said about Hillary earlier in this interview, the empire doesn't get Brexit because the empire didn't believe Brexit was possible. And now the empire's problem is that it's fighting this argument on several fronts at once. You know, we've got the American elections going on. We've got a big referendum coming up in Hungary on migrant quotas from Germany. We've got a rerun of the Austrian presidency where the right-wing candidate was cheated by false votes. So they've got a real problem. They are fighting us now on a whole series of fronts. What will they do to fight back? I don't know the answer to that yet. And you know something? Nor do they. Because over the course of the last few decades, all of their plans, piece by piece, to build these new structures, they've won every single battle. Some of them have taken them longer than they wanted, but they've won every single battle. After Brexit, they're in trouble. And I have to say that these American elections, you know, this could be a result globally far bigger even than Brexit. You know, if America, as the leader of the Western world, once again becomes the leader of the free world, well, then I think, basically, we will have done away with the globalists.
Well, sir, you're right. The Washington Post said 2 weeks ago that Hillary's a referendum and that Brexit was the first domino and that she's the second. And if she falls, they say it's irrevocable because they, in their own documents that we've gotten from BAMP Canada, North American Union meetings 10 years ago, they say, it's key that we maintain stealth and secrecy. If the public ever finds out, North American integration and our plan will fail. That's a quote. I mean, it's like a James Bond villain. We've caught them. You've exposed them. I don't see how they can continue when it comes out that they're dictatorial. But first, since you mentioned Hillary, I don't know if you saw her big national speech last week. She attacked myself, you and others. She attacked Donald Trump like it was bad that he was associated with somebody like you who's changing the world and loved all over the place. Even the left is having to admit you've got good points. And so let's play this clip of Hillary acting like Trump's bad because he's modeling himself after a winner like you. Here it is.
Nigel Farage, who stoked anti-immigrant sentiments to win the referendum, to have Britain leave the European Union, campaigned with Donald Trump in Mississippi.
And then Paul Watson in the piece he did on this went on to say, hey, Hillary and Nigel Farage won. Don't forget that part. I think this really illustrates her disconnect, sir.
Well, I just want to, can I please use this opportunity to thank Hillary Clinton from the bottom of my heart for doing what she's done. She's raised my profile massively in this presidential election. She's made me a political football between the Trumpites and the Clintonites, and she's given me an even bigger platform in the United States of America to say to people, we've just won our democracy back. Why don't you do the same thing? So, Hillary, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So here's the paradox. They've got the money, they've got the power, they've stolen control, they got the Swiss bank accounts like the EU bureaucrats that don't pay taxes. You've exposed all that, but people are waking up. They're unelected, they're dictatorial. That's an uphill battle for them. The problem is they're already on top of the hill. How do you see this playing? I mean, in fact, I agree with you. They don't know how to counter. They're panicked right now. I've never seen the media so deceptive. They seem to be doubling down.
Yeah, what we've got to do is to focus on what we can do. And what we can do is to go out and reach the millions, tens of millions of people across the Western world who frankly feel completely disconnected and disenchanted with politics. You know, we've been through these years where, frankly, whichever party you vote for doesn't make very much difference. And where people say, do you know what? I'm not going to bother. It makes no difference. And what we have to do is we have to inspire those people. We have to say to those people, come on, get up off your backside, get down to that polling station, vote, because it's only by us getting together and doing what we think that we can change things. And that's the lesson, Alex, from Brexit. Nearly 2.5 million people who don't vote or have never voted in their lives went out on June the 23rd and turned it into our independence.
Total history. And, of course, they're trying to ignore the vote. It's a battle, but they're going to lose in the end. This is amazing.
They can't. They can't.
In the minute we have left.
They can't ignore the vote. So I would say to people, if you want change in America, then, yeah, listen to these shows. Talk to your friends and neighbors. But actually, you've got to get your walking boots
Knock on doors.
You've got to get out and meet people, inspire people. And if you do that, we'll strike a blow against the globalists from which they will never, ever recover.
Absolutely. In the minute we have left, sir, I just want to say that obviously you've not really retired. You're here battling the New World Order globally now. You've actually gone to the next level. And I appreciate your time, your energy, and the risk you've taken for yourself and your family. Of course, UKIP.org, the former party you headed up. And, of course, people can also follow you on Twitter. We'll put that on screen for TV viewers as well. But this is a great historic time. It is a referendum against the New World Order. And I think Donald Trump's going to win if all of our listeners and others do what you say and take action. So thank you for spending your time trying to help America be a free country as well, Mr. Farage.
No, not one little bit. And I'll be back between now and November the 8th.
Thank you so much, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I mean, InfoWars is making history. And that big old amplifier, DrudgeReport.com, is watching our 6. And we're watching Drudge's 6 and everybody else's. But I tell you, they tried to kill him over and over again. And I'm not going to get into it, but they've taken the bolts off his tires. The police said that somebody tried to kill him. They've messed with his brake lines. His airplane crashed. And that guy basically just marches around all over Europe, you name it, with no bodyguards, basically. He's the real deal. I have young children, and I've never had bodyguards, and I've gotten to the point with stuff going on behind the scenes that I do. And I've hired former highly decorated Army people that are part of security details worldwide. But that's the type of stuff we have to deal with. Our Blitzer Kimmel story is also on Drudge. It's getting crazier. And just to look at the anatomy of propaganda, we'll cover that when we come back. But history's happening. Big things are happening. The fight against tyranny is taking place. And people are deciding what side they're on. You can't read the Soros emails. Even liberal publications are now coming out and saying, okay, Soros is really bad. Okay, he wants to overthrow countries. He wants to create racial division. He wants to destabilize things. It's all there. I mean, a moron would not be able to tell this. A really big moron, an average moron would be able to. I mean, this is crazy. And it doesn't mean the Republicans are going to save us either. But Trump is an insurrection taking over the Republican Party with the populism. And that's why they're throwing everything they've got against him. But Nigel Farage, ladies and gentlemen, making history. 25 years ago, starting out, having a huge victory. Imagine where InfoWars will be in 4 years. I don't know how to describe this. And the problem is, if I sat around and actually strategized things more often, we would be more successful. But it takes too much energy, and I just can't do it because I'm already expending everything I've got. By the time at 9 o'clock at night, I go to sleep the millisecond I hit my pillow. Now, I'll kind of wake up at 3 a.m. sometimes, and then I go back to sleep. But when I was younger, it'd take me 20 minutes to go to sleep. Now I go to bed in seconds. Sometimes I don't remember hitting the pillow. And that's because I'm not complaining. I've got so many decisions to make, so many things to calculate, so many things to look into. It's the opposite, though, of people that are just watching TV all day. I feel so sorry for those folks. But when I was sitting there last week at like 7 a.m. in the morning, I went to Infowars.com, drinking coffee, about to go lift weights, my personal trainer. And we were drinking coffee and eating fried eggs. And I looked at an article on Infowars.com about Mark Dice and the pickle. And I thought, if I cover that, they're going to attack me and think they've got me because it's a petty issue. But then people are going to pop the pickles and notice they do pop and then know they're liars. And 1,000 thoughts go through your head. I don't know how to, that just stalt of like just knowledge. Just, you go, oh, yeah, this is the thing to do. This is really going to hurt Hillary and the fact that she's covering up her health problems. And I said, plus, I'm going to come in and have some fun with Caddyshack, where he pours the 2 bottles together and the top's not really on it, and then he acts like it was really sealed with the girl. And I'm going to have some fun. And I debated with Pat Riley talking to him. Do you think I should have fun? I don't do that a lot. It makes me feel better. I always feel better after the show if I have some fun. I'm really serious. I feel like crying after the show if I go lay down sometimes. I'm not kidding. This is a lot of emotion here, a lot of research. And you think about these people all day. You look at them all day. Nietzsche said, don't look into the abyss, at least you become it. And I'll see them play footage of Hillary. I actually just recoil from it. And I don't say that as a matter of hyperbole. I mean, I've got a problem. I mean, I can't, I hope she isn't president because I don't want to look at her. And all the analysts and pundits go, oh, you'll get even bigger if she gets elected. I want my job to go away, folks. I don't want chimeras and breast cancer up 3,000%. I got daughters. I don't want to make money off crap getting worse. It just shows me how the public thinks. We have adopted the globalist thought processes. I have not adopted it. And I'm not claiming I'm some great guy either. I'm lustful, I'm vicious, everything else. But it's just the process of all this is extremely informative, to say the least. And so I just basically, like I do all the time, envisioned how they would respond. I know how they operate, thinking they'd get me in something to make fun of me on, thinking they'd have something stupid. And instead now it's all over the news going, whoa, Wolf Blitzer made jokes about the pop, and when he opened it, it did pop. And Wolf Blitzer looks completely scared and freaked out during the interview. And then Kimmel looks freaked out when it pops, and then diverts it by saying he's putting the pickle juice on his cologne. But the issue here is people will say this is just comedy. It's not comedy. Mainstream media is discredited. They've now segued into entertainment and comedy, and that's where we get hammered with the TPP's good and world government's good and all the rest of it. I knew when I talked about Huma Abedin, has she had her genitals cut off, I knew when I said it with Roger Stone that they would make a national news story out of it and say that she hadn't had her genitals cut off when she probably has. Her mother is the leading advocate of it. That's now mainstream news today. New York Post, you name it. She wrote books saying, chop your daughter, white papers. And they came out and said I was a liar and crazy and obsessed with women's genitals and that I need to get out of Huma Abedin's underwear drawer and stuff. And then I'm like a rapist because I'm in women's businesses. Yeah, I'm in women's businesses. I've got 2 daughters. And nobody's going to cut their genitals off. See how they spin all that? But it's in the news today. Huma Abedin's mom linked a shocking anti-women book in a journal that put it out. She advocates that Sharia law cut girls. And all these ignorant people send me emails. I see comments going, how do you cut a woman's genitals off? She doesn't have any. Yes, she does. It's called a clitoris, and they cut it off with basically shears. And I bring that up for medical reasons, not to be vulgar. What's vulgar is cutting it off. And I'm not going to sit here and put up with George Soros and his own emails admitting he's bringing Sharia law in and jihadis into the West because it's incompatible with our system, so we'll have to accept a new legal system that accommodates Sharia law. That's the new emails. We have him. And they don't know what to do because it's not just InfoWars. It's all these other people that now get what's happening. And all these former mainline liberals are going, whoa, you're not really liberals. I'm joining the Patriots. Because you people are monsters. So let me just respond to this now so we can edit this out and put it out as a clip. I knew what I was doing last week when I saw a clip on Infowars.com and an analysis by Mark Dice that it looked like it was fake because her hand turns all the way around the can. I went got in the pantry, got another can of, or a jar of pickles. I opened it. It popped. It didn't turn around. It didn't come off like peanut butter jar top. And so I knew it was a fraud. And the pop didn't get picked up on tape, but when his sidekick opened the jar, it did pop in the same episode. So I made the point that it was a fraud. That's all I did. And I made a joke out of it, too. They made fun of me, attacked me, had Wolf Blitzer on. He goes to open it after they make all these jokes, and it doesn't turn in a circle. It pops. Well, he's even done it in a while. He's like turning it, like you have to go in a circle, and he finally goes, oh, it pops. He even makes a joke. Now, it's supposed to pop, but you can't hear that on a lav. And then he opens it, and it pops, and they go, oh, my God, it popped. And the crowd's like, oh. See, I knew. I looked at it. It was fake. I knew you'd take the bait. I didn't know it would be Wolf Blitzer. I didn't know it would be in thousands of newspapers. I didn't know it would be one of the biggest stories last week. I didn't know it would boost Jimmy Kimmel's ratings, but I knew you'd take the bait. And that's why I need to go sit in my office more and turn on the classical music and basically focus on gaming you people, because here's what's crazy. Every time this stuff pops in my head, it works like a charm on you. The problem is I hardly ever sit here and actually calculate stuff. I just go, oh, look, George Soros' new emails, the UN to take over our police, oh, look, he wants to control the internet with the UN and shut down everybody. Oh, here's his actual email. Oh, look, Uma's mom writes, white papers saying cut women's genitals off. I mean, it's not hard. You people are raving, out-of-control tyrants. And I'm just some hillbilly stock guy that I'm like a dog when you walk by its house, it barks at you. I just have basic instincts. I read books and stuff where we put fluoride in the water to lower their IQs and make them dumb and more manageable. And I go, man, that's really creepy and horrible. Who the hell would want to do that to anybody? You're just not an elitist like us. No, I'm not a psychopath like you. But if I metaphysically get my hands around your neck, you'll find out I'm a lot meaner than you are. I just don't prey on my own species, dumbass. Because I don't want my family getting treated the way you treat people. Because what comes around goes around, dumbass. I've seen, when I've gotten out of community pools and go, I got to go to the bathroom, people go, wow, you go to the restroom to piss in the pool? I've talked to grown men, they go, I just pee right in the pool. I'm like, I don't want to swim around in your piss. I go to the bathroom to piss. And excuse me talking like that, but that's the fundamentals of what I boil this down to. The Muslims from third world countries, they're used to crapping in a river. So they get in the German swimming pool, and they all start crapping in the pool. You globalists think you're so advanced. I'm civilized. I don't take a crap in the pool. Madeleine Albright, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Al Gore, David Rockefeller, all of you take collective dumps in the pool. Because you think you're in a different pool than us. You think you're up on the castle on the hill. The truth is, you're in the same pool as us, idiots. You reap what you sow. You understand that? I don't want to swim in your piss. Go make a joke out of that, Jimmy Kimmel. Watch what happens. What I'm saying is common sense from my gut, from my ancestors, from all the compacted knowledge. You have that knowledge. You decided to ignore it all. You decided to crap on your birthright. I didn't. I'm a human. I want destiny. I want my progeny to be successful. I want them to look forward into the future and realize the debts I paid and to want to pay the debts for others into the future. The fundamentals of being human and not an animal. You don't get that. And you'll never be fulfilled until you do. Let's play the Jimmy Kimmel piece. Here it is.
It's going to be all over you. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Wolf Blitzer. Oh, no. Oh, there was a pop. I heard it, too. I don't know if we heard it on TV, but the internet will absolutely let us know. I definitely heard the pop. You know, the nice thing about pickles is not only can you eat them, they can also be used as a cologne. Thanks for watching. If you like that, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All right, and then if you guys try to censor us when we put this on YouTube, you know what I'm going to do, is they always do this. You're talking about me. It's fair use. I played it. And I'm not bitching at Kimmel. I'm bitching at his people. Because we've had him and others before put copyright strikes on us years ago, and I'm tired of it. You're talking about me. I have a right to play it, and everybody knows it. Okay? Now, let's back it up so you hear the whole thing. But there it is, the popping of the deal. And the point is, Hillary came in. You know her PR person wasn't going to let her open a can of pickles that hadn't already been tested. Because some of them, nobody can open sometimes. Sometimes you got to bang them on a table, you know, and take a hammer to them. Sometimes they're too sealed. Sometimes they're rusted on. They weren't going to let that disaster happen. You know they did it. It didn't pop. Admit we're right. You wanted to have some humor and make us all think subliminally that she's got great health while you make fun of us. So you say are the progenitors of the story that Hillary isn't well. No, her falling down and having brain surgery and being in the hospital for a year. And Matt Drudge is the progenitor, and he's on to something, so he gets the credit. He basically started the story. I'm not taking the credit from Drudge. And she's obviously ill, and all these doctors are coming out and saying it, and then they're getting fired and in trouble, and people are getting shot in the back. Let's go ahead and play more of the clip. Here it is.
I was on vacation, and you had it. Hillary Clinton and the pickle jar. I missed that story.
Oh, yeah, that was big.
That was huge. Major. Got a lot of commotion.
They're saying it was the biggest story about pickles this century, and it probably was.
It was a great story, a good story.
How would you have handled that story? How would you have covered it?
Well, I would have covered it the way you covered it. I would have followed up, gotten the reaction, and, of course, tried to come to the bottom of it. Did you fake that story?
I did not fake the pickles. And in fact, and I'll tell you this, it would have been my dream that she was not able to open the pickle jar, because it would have been funny to not be able to open a pickle jar. But never in my wildest imagination did I believe that it would become
him over that. I'm serious.
There was no pop.
There was no pop. Yeah. But also, you have to remember something.
Oh, hold on, back it up 5 seconds. Oh, there was no pop. And then they go, oh, the law wouldn't pick it up. Boulder Dash, when his assistant did it, you heard it in a mic 10 feet away. Bull, corny, hot dog. That's a saying that my late friend Ryan Baxter would say. When we were kids, we weren't allowed to cuss, but he could say bull, corny, hot dog. Let's go ahead and go back to the clip.
There was no pop.
There was no pop. Yeah. But also, you have to remember something. In order, you have to, with a lavalier mic, you have to get very close to something. Like if I have a Barbie doll or something, I have to put it up to my top. I have a pickle jar here.
Oh, really?
If you want to. Folks. Now, you are the most cussable.
Just blew up in their face bad.
If you want to.
What idiots.
I don't know how you can verify. I guess you can feel whether it has been opened or not.
The LASIK. This is December 31st, 2017, so it's relatively new.
Relatively new, yeah. We bought it at the 99-cent store, so it might not be as fresh.
So you want me to try to open up this?
Well, if you care to, go ahead and then...
Is this the same kind of jar that she opened?
This is the identical jar. I mean, it's the same brand, same size. Remember, she opened it very slowly also, which I think is why people think something was weird. She opened it very slowly, so maybe the gas escaped at a slower rate.
There's no debate.
You go crazy and tell me what you think.
Ready?
It's vacuum
You're going to be part of the conspiracy now. You realize that, right?
I'm going to try do my best.
Alex Jones is going to be all over you.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, here we go. Here it is. Wolf Blitzer. Oh, no. Oh, there was a pop.
You heard the pop.
I heard it too. I don't know if we heard it on TV, but
I mean, what are you going to do now?
Will absolutely let us know.
I definitely heard the pop.
You know, the nice thing about pickles is not only can you eat them, they can also be used as a cologne.
By the way, I like Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, I've been honest. He's my favorite guy on late night TV. I like Colbert, too. I mean, even though he pushes a lot of disinfo, he's super entertaining. Who do I like better, Kimmel or Colbert? I don't know. And by the way, Blitzer's not one of the worst people on CNN. I mean, I've attacked him and stuff because he's an intelligence agency asset, but the people should just know that. So I'm not out to get these guys. I don't think Kimmel and Blitzer are having people killed. The point is they work for a power structure that's full of prunes, to quote another broadcaster from Texas, Dan Rather. So we're going to go to break, come back, hit a few other news items, and then who do we have? His Britannic Majesty is on vacation, so he's still writing articles, but he's not in the fourth hour. Rob Dew, the great patriot, is going to be hosting the fourth hour. That probably means phone calls. But look, we're in the battle. We're having an effect. We're not winning the war, but we've turned the tide, and we're winning some big battles right now. To quote the wolf from Pulp Fiction, we can't start celebrating yet. But we're completely, victorious. There won't be some utopia then. It just means we've defeated this crop. But the New World Order is in deep, 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 deep pickles right now because their world government project is out in the open and there's no way it's going to continue on. The problem is, I'll tell you when we come back, the problem. Now, before I go any further, I was talking about the problem. We have achieved, if you were looking at a ballistic missile, escape velocity, and we're going to go into orbit. Success, getting away from world government, the technocrats. The rocket of humanity is reaching escape velocity. It means we're going to make it out of the atmosphere. The problem is, yes, George Soros's, Henry Kissinger's, David Rockefeller's, the British royal families, the Rothschilds, those are all the architects that funded it, 170-year plan for world government is in shambles. But the technology and the systems of control they've developed, or gotten humanity to develop for them, are still going to be left around the battlefield. And these systems in our domestication, now they've trained us to be evil, are still going to be here. I mean, all I'm saying to you, the next 10, 20 years, we'll beat the New World Order. We'll beat this program, maybe even sooner. But did we beat ourselves? Because that evil's just going to continue on. We've got to recognize it in ourselves and do something about it. So we're winning the battle. We haven't won the war. But this is epic. This is history. And they'll make jokes and laugh at Drudge and laugh at us and laugh at everybody else. But then when you actually read their own publications, they're like, emergency, we're sinking. Oh, we're taking heavy fire. They won't stop. Help us. Because they're a bunch of hunchback globalists. I mean, if I was Madeleine Albright, saved when I was 10 years old from the Nazis, barely by the Serbs, they even let her take all her stolen loot with her dad, where she has all this stuff stolen from Jews at her house. Not the Serbs' fault. She was, running out of Europe with it because they'd been kind of the richer Jews feeding on the poor Jews. That's how it worked with Soros and others. You'd think if she got saved, she then wouldn't bloodthirstily blow up the Serbs when the Muslims attacked them. But she did. It's like, you helped me, I'm going to slit your throat. These people want to be dishonorable. You understand? Madeleine Albright and her family were just like Soros and were rich Jews feeding on other Jews and selling them out to the Nazis. This is on record. I was talking to a prominent Hollywood producer, and he said, well, don't bash George Soros. He had to sell out the Jews or they'd kill him. And I said, if you told me to sell out some family or you're going to kill me, I'd say, pull that trigger, you son of a bitch. I'm not having that on me, and that's the disconnect. What we're dealing with this trash. These people are trash. And they're not a religious group. It's not a race. It's the communist Chinese. It's war criminals. It's New World Order. It's just bad people everywhere. I didn't plug last hour of this hour. I'm out of control. Hillary for prison shirts at cost, limited time. InfoWarsStore.com. Selenium, bunch of discounts. Fruit Punch discounted. Just get it all. I need funding to attack the enemy. Fund us. Energize us. And we must stand together and put aside all our petty differences and take on the New World Order. Rob Dews in the other studio, looking sharp, our news director. I tell you, I was really disheartened because I can put out some silly video and it gets 5 million views. And you did that great history of Hillary's crimes and mass murder did with myself this weekend. I worked on it, I worked on it with you about 2 hours. Other things about 10 hours this weekend. You worked probably, I don't want to exaggerate, let me guess, 15 hours on it. Or more, and then it only had like 180,000 views. And then I noticed Drudge linked to it, so we'll get millions of views now. But if people really see Hillary laughing about dead kids and Madeleine Albright and all this, and then I forgot about her laughing about getting child molesters off and stuff, child rapists of little girls. I mean, it's shocking that we're dealing with such a demon. Your take on that and what else is coming up today?
Well, Alex, I was taking that 16-minute piece and compiling it down to 4 minutes, and I started doing some more research on what happened to the body count of the Clintons when they were governors.
And by the way, you're compiling it so it can go into one of our ad segments.
Exactly. And there are these two boys that are like the first two bodies of the Clinton body count, and they found them on a train track, but they had been stabbed and bludgeoned to death before the train hit them.
And they've been tortured too, yeah.
Exactly. And people suspect that they ran into an airfield in Mena, Arkansas, and saw too much.
And it gets more epic. Then the main CIA contractor got so upset by the kids being killed, Terry Reid, he went public and exposed it all.
Exactly.
That's when Nichols and all of them said, we're not killing 10 and 11-year-old kids, okay? This stops now. because I learned from Inside Baseball, there were debates at the airfield. There goes, those little kids just saw stuff being offloaded off these.
They have no idea.
You don't need to kill 10 and 11-year-old kids on their Huffy bikes. Yeah. And there's all these commandos, and they said, no, we're going to kill them. And they said, well, then you go get somebody else. And they had the mafia kill them.
Yeah, ridiculous. And then there's other
like
bodies
Scarface.
behind
It's
that.
like Scarface.
Right.
You
Well,
know, where he
people had
literally goes, I told you, no women, no kids.
Yeah, exactly. They broke that taboo. But there's people beyond that who are decapitated, and it's called natural causes. You know, Clinton gets the medical examiner to call it natural causes when somebody gets decapitated. Guys are shot in the back hundreds of times in their cars.
Cars are shot off the road, hundreds of bullets, dozens of bullets in the body. It's called a suicide.
It's an act of God, you know, at some point.
That's where we get Arkansas from.
Right. And so it just gets creepier and creepier. But it starts off with the death of 2 kids. That is where the Clinton body count really starts. And then you got the ATF agents who were actual Clinton bodyguards before that. The only 4 that die at Waco, all shot in the temple.
Yeah, that was all set up.
You know, it's all... And you forget about this stuff because so many years have passed. But, you know, these bodies, all those bodies are on her soul and on her husband's soul. You know, so that's all.
Well, by the way, dumbasses, when you execute somebody in a black op operation that's totally illegal and political, you're going to be killed next. Don't do immoral killings.
Exactly. Once you know where the bodies are buried, you're on that list. And people need to remember that. So I'll be covering a little bit of Clinton, her actual, they're hiding the Clinton body count on Google. Well, now they're hiding her health searches. So they just Google keeps trying to hide stuff. And Facebook, this week, they started posting false stories. So now they become the Onion, essentially. And they're writing fake news, and they have robots who are culling through the news to find out what's going to be the top trend.
All right, well, I'm looking to you and the listeners to bail us out because I'm skipping so many breaks. I don't plug but once a day sometimes now. We're a little in the red for the last month or 2. We were in the black before that. We're doing okay, but I need to expand and keep going into this situation. We need to make a lot of money. Please, well, the Hillary for President shirts, it costs, but that's my love because that'll get more of those out.
But that's a good loss leader. Bring people in. Hey, check out this, the vitamin mineral fusion, which is 20% off,
Absolutely.
Which is great. I've got a great plug for that. I actually drank some this morning. And
we'll talk about that when we come back, and I'm going to turn everything over to you, dude. Great job with the crew, and I appreciate everybody out there. Talk about Kimmel. I mean, they really stepped in it with the thing popping. I mean, this is going stratospheric.
A socialist democratic gay pride parade downtown in Austin, Texas, and just the mere sight of a black woman holding an InfoWars mic caused so much consternation among the socialist Democrats that they just really freaked out on her, and she was even pressing some of them on Black Lives Matter. So wait till you see those. One of the guys she meets up says GMOs are good for you. You won't believe it till you see it. So we're going to have that. I've also got a report from Owen Schroyer talking about Colin Kaepernick and what the controversy is there. I personally think it's his right for a second-string quarterback to sit on the bench and not stand up for the national anthem. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it. I interviewed some guys who were stepping on a flag outside a Donald Trump rally. Incidentally, after everybody went in, they came out and had their demonstration while there was just a few people out there. That was in outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back in April. And I don't agree with people what they do when they do that, but that's why we have this country, and I want to protect their right to do that, so others can't come by and say what I have to say and what I can't say, or like the Lyft driver had the hula girl on his dashboard and offended some tattooed journalist. Didn't like seeing that, and the voice. Oh God, I avoided that clip because I could tell how her voice is going to be, and hearing it today on the show, it was total mind numbing. But first, I want to get to this. Don Cheadle wishes Trump a painful death and gets away with it. This is the actor. He's been in the Iron Man series, Avengers series. He kind of plays the second string Iron Man. After Nakia Aldridge died in a crossfire of a Chicago gunfight, and Donald Trump tweeted out that he was sorry for Dwayne Wade's cousin being killed, and that African Americans need to vote for Trump, and he's going to, turn things around. Well, Don Cheadle took a response saying, "You truly are a POS. Sorry, I misspelled die in a grease fire." So basically, he told him to die in a grease fire, and Cheadle said that was just an exaggerated diss. So it's a diss when you call for somebody to die if it's Donald Trump. But if someone was to say Hillary Clinton, and I would never say this, but if someone were to say this, Hillary Clinton, you should die in a grease fire, I imagine there would be some suspension of accounts, vilification from the mainstream media who's running circles around. They've run several wings of wagons around Hillary Clinton as she kind of hobbles around through her campaign stops. And, but it's okay if you do it to Donald Trump. Incidentally, I'm hearing in the rumor mill that Dwayne Wade's actually a big Donald Trump supporter, probably because he wants his taxes cut, because he makes a lot of money and he wants to, spend that money the way he wants to, not giving it to the government to waste on whatever program they think they should get away with right now. So anyway, we're going to have that video coming up about Colin Kaepernick. Incidentally, we got Google hiding searches. First, back on the 22nd, Paul Joseph Watson reported Google hides Clinton body count search suggestions. So if you search for Clinton body count, it doesn't really pop up. It tries to move you away from that search. And so as you're typing out something, Google tries to figure out what you're going to type. And it was trying to leading people away from the Clinton body count. And now we got Google hides popular Hillary Clinton health searches. And that just came out today on Breitbart. Recent search engine results indicate Google, whose CEO is a supporter of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, is suppressing negative search results about the Democratic Party's presidential nominee. Search for Hillary Clinton's HE across 3 different search engines provide quite different results. So it's HE, it'll bring up headquarters or health plan or healthcare plan, but nothing about her actual health. Although Bing does that, they look for health or health issues or health and weight. So it's pretty funny that Google is trying to hide those search results, which is why you should use alternative search engines out there. There's Start Page, there's others, something like some sort of Rabbit, I think. I forget the name of it. But look for alternative search engines. Don't just go with Google because they embed it in all your search results. And I love to search Google and then search other ones and see what I come up with and compare. Because I do think Google is doing a bit of hiding of the facts. And then we have this story from Facebook. Facebook fires human editors, those who were doing the trending algorithm, and immediately posts fake news. So they posted a fake news story about Megyn Kelly being fired by Fox News for being a closet liberal. So they had it trending. They made it. So this was just to test the waters. This was all to test the waters to see if they could get away with it and see if people would notice. So who knows, when election time comes around, maybe they'll start posting more fake news stories and go, oh, it was just fake, we're sorry. But not before that thought process gets out there, just like what happened at the local NBC affiliate when they posted election results days before the election, which is happening today. They posted this over the weekend, and they took the Republican runner who was in there and had her losing. So that's going to imprint in your mind, oh, she lost. Why should I even vote? She's already lost. So that's the way they're doing it. And then they go, oh, it was fake. We admitted it was fake. We admitted it was fake. But they don't admit it till after the fact. And now they've since come out and apologized. So they obviously thought they did something wrong. Here's a CBS story today. Facebook apologizes for promoting false story on Megyn Kelly in hashtag trending. So they put these stories in their trending and then say, oh, it was our mistake. And now we're going to have everything run by robots. Facebook has truly gone, as I tweeted out before on my Twitter @DewsNews, Facebook is now 1984. They are the embodiment of newspeak and going back and re-engineering things and making things disappear, except they're not having humans do it. They just do it all by computers now, and it's a lot quicker. So George Orwell couldn't have even imagined what Facebook and Google are pulling off at this time. Let's go to that Colin Kaepernick report. It's not working? Oh, okay. So we have no videos at this time. Not until after the break. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty interesting. Let's go into this Ars Technica article just a little more and see what's going on. The original accusations of bias actually came from an ex-editor at Facebook who leaked the trending training materials to Gizmodo. And the training package offered tips, among other things, how to curate from the RSS newsfeed of reputable sources, which is very interesting. If you type in a headline from InfoWars, unless you put the exact headline in, it won't bring up InfoWars as one of the news sources. You could do this all the time. I actually have to find our own articles. I have to type in InfoWars next to it, or it won't even put InfoWars into the feed, and definitely not in news. We've been delisted from news, even though we're setting a lot of the news narrative that's going on around here. Just look at Picklegate. You know, they thought they could bring Hillary Clinton on the air, open a jar of pickles, and or pre-open it for her, have her open and act like she was really giving it a hard time, not have the pop there, which is pretty much I think they even did a commercial about the pop one time, like pop. You hear it pop and you know you're getting something good and fresh, but not when Hillary Clinton's opening a pickle jar. And that backfired on them maliciously. They had Wolf Blitzer on, Jimmy Kimmel, and he called it. Alex Jones is going to call him out on it, and we did that today. So I think that's very important that we call these people out, and then when we catch them again, we call them out again, just so they can't just keep lying to us, like what Facebook's going to do. This is really scary. Most people get their news from Facebook. There it is. There's the story on InfoWars. I heard a pop. Wolf Blitzer investigates Clinton-rigged pickle jar. So we've literally taken something as inane as pickles and turned it into a news story. And I got more Clinton news. This is out of the Washington Examiner. Came out today, just less than about an hour ago. State finds, this is the State Department, finds 30 deleted Clinton emails on Benghazi. Oh, but I thought there was nothing there. What difference does it make? So the State Department attorneys said the agency discovered 30 Benghazi-related emails among the records recovered from Clinton's private email server. And the emails were included among the roughly 15,000 emails FBI agents said they pulled off the server in the course of a year-long probe, but we didn't hear about that. The discovery of 30 such emails is significant because Clinton has repeatedly assured the public, Congress, and FBI agents that she turned over all work-related communications in late 2014. Yet they found these deleted. So once again, we've caught Hillary Clinton in a big lie. This is the lie of 4 dead Americans, countless wounded in that attack. I don't know if you ever saw the Benghazi movie. I forget the name of the Benghazi movie. But it's amazing watching what those guys had to go through to survive wave after wave of attack. And only 4 men died after a mortar strike. That was the next morning when they could have easily been rescued at any time. But they didn't want to disclose that they had a secret CIA spill there. What's that? 13 hours. That's right. It was 13 hours. And amazing movie. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It'll make you mad. And it hopefully won't make you vote for Hillary Clinton because she is truly an agent of evil. So once again, we've caught Clinton in another lie. And you've got Google and all the big mainstream media networks and social media networks working together to provide cover for her. Just remember that when you go to the polls this November. Stay tuned for more, where hopefully we'll have this video situation fixed and we'll come back and show you. All right, we're back live. I've changed studios so we could get our video system running. So if you're watching on Infowars.com/show, you'll notice I'm back in the big studio. Before we go to this Colin Kaepernick video real quick, if you guys could get a shot of this. Here's Hillary Clinton's new campaign poster. I tweeted this out a few days ago. It's pretty interesting. You should see the look on her face. There it is right there. Look, it looks just like her, doesn't it? Look at that. Yeah, The Thing. Vote for The Thing. That's what you get. She metamorphosizes into whatever you know. She likes TPP, then she doesn't like TPP. But there she is. You can see it right there. You can follow me at Dews News, DEWSNEWZ. I put out all kinds of stuff. Here's another one. Hillary with her favorite, KKK Grand Cyclops. And there he's holding his KK cane. That's Robert Byrd. He's dead now. But let's go to that, I guess, another bread and circus video here. This is, how they're trying to distract you. They're going to turn this into a big event. And instead of reporting on things like what's really going on with Hillary and Huma, that's another thing. They were using Wienergate as a cover for, they're going to talk about Huma, but not cover the fact that she even wrote about Bill Clinton bomb people just to confuse them about Monica Lewinsky, to bring people's mind off that. So it's another wag the dog issue. But let's talk about it, and because it does bring up some interesting issues. Here's Owen Schroyer.
In the midst of all the backlash of Colin Kaepernick sitting during the national anthem during his last football game, he has now decided to double down and says he will continue to sit during national anthems before his football games. And while Colin Kaepernick has all the right to sit during the national anthem, this has proven to be a bad mistake for his image, and we're now even seeing fans burning his jersey and saluting the national anthem while they do it. And while it's nice to see athletes getting involved with messages outside of the sports plantation, perhaps even trying to raise awareness for issues they see in this country, it's not good when they're raising issues that they are not understanding. It's not good when they're causing the sheeple that they're entertaining to move towards these movements or these talking points that are really unfounded. Again, this is Colin Kaepernick, a half-black football player who was adopted by white parents, who makes hundreds of millions of dollars playing football. I promise you, Colin, I promise you, there is no other country where you can go play football and make $100 million, only in America. He also took it further in an interview and said that both candidates are racist. Now, he cited why he thought Hillary Clinton was racist, a comment she made saying that black people are predators. But then when he was talking about Trump being racist, he just said he's openly racist and provided zero evidence of why he actually believes that. And Colin Kaepernick wants to protest oppression for black people in America. You know, there are real countries where real oppression is going on, where if you would have sat in North Korea during a Kim Jong-un worship ceremony, you would be disappeared, okay? You wouldn't be allowed to play football anymore. You wouldn't be allowed to do an interview. You would be disappeared, okay? That's real oppression right there. Colin Kaepernick, you are not oppressed to the extent that you think you are. I promise you that. Now, this is all part of the Bread and Circus Inc., obviously, with the NFL and their ties to the government. The Pentagon paid 14 NFL teams $5.5 million last year to salute troops. So Colin Kaepernick wants to raise awareness about black oppression, but Colin Kaepernick doesn't understand that if all of Colin Kaepernick's fans, if all of the 49ers fans devoted the same energy towards actual causes and researching the actual issues that are going on in America, they could actually do something about it. But instead, they just want to have some sort of a celebrity cause protest, like sitting during a national anthem to draw more attention to yourself. I think Colin may actually be a little upset that he's been riding the bench, and so he had to do something to draw a little more attention to himself, sitting out this national anthem. And we've now seen multiple NFL players do protests like this. We had Rams players come out and do the hands up, don't shoot during an introduction after the Mike Brown shooting, when that was a total false narrative. So Colin Kaepernick, a multi-million-dollar black athlete in America, is protesting black oppression in America while not even realizing that there's other countries where that same protest would have had him disappeared. And there's no other country where Colin Kaepernick can go and make $100 million playing football. So while Colin Kaepernick is executing his right to free speech, sitting during the national anthem, I would ask you this, Colin. If you want to raise awareness of issues, if you want to actually make a difference on this planet, do a little research, get a little depth of your knowledge.
Exactly. Get woke, as they like to say. And you can watch the rest of that video at Colin Kaepernick's White Privilege Exposed. We'll be right back. All right, we're back for the fourth hour. This is Rob Dew, your host of the Alex Jones Show Overdrive segment. Sitting next to me, to my right, is Ashley Beckford. And she's one of our newer reporters who came in. Actually, we hired you as a production assistant, and you basically said, I can hold a mic and talk to people. And you've shown that time and time again.
Yes.
And make people not uncomfortable, but ask them real questions.
Yes.
Not throw softballs.
Exactly. Ask them real questions and try to find out what they really actually believe.
Exactly. And we're going to get to some videos that we haven't seen yet on the show. We posted these. Have you posted the second one yet, or are we waiting for that one for tonight?
I think we're waiting for that for tonight.
Nightly news.
Yeah,
all right, so this will be a sneak peek of the nightly news, which is 7 p.m. Central every night here at prisonplanet.tv. But before we do that, like to let you know out there, Vitamin Mineral Fusion is 20% off. And also the Hillary for Prison t-shirts are at cost. And so we're doing that as a loss leader to get you in the door, then get you some Vitamin Mineral Fusion. I put this and what I affectionately call Yoda juice is a concoction I make. It's got Interfood, which we also sell here. Some other things. I also started putting
sounds good.
AccuPower in it. But I tell you what, the Vitamin Mineral Fusion makes everything taste better.
Oh,
because it tastes really good by itself. When you add that into something that tastes like living seaweed, it makes it taste so much better.
Yeah,
I take the capsules apart. I'll put the AccuPower in, the joint formula, a couple other things from some digestive enzymes. I put all kinds.
I haven't tried
kinds
that.
of stuff along with aloe juice.
Good though.
I try to do it 2 or 3 times a week. But Vitamin Mineral Fusion, if you want your shakes out there that don't taste good, your spinach smoothies, put some Vitamin Mineral Fusion in there. It's gonna make it taste a whole lot better.
That's a great idea.
And of course, all your purchases help support what we're doing here, hiring more people, sending reporters out,
everybody
to more
behind
locations.
the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. If you see 2 or 3 people out here on a desk, there's 8 people behind us back there working, plus the writers. Incidentally enough, Adon Salazar came in and said, you just reported on that Breitbart article. That was on the 30th. On the 27th, I reported the same thing, which was a Saturday. Google censors Hillary Clinton health problems, search results. So there's Adon Salazar, even besting the mighty Breitbart by 3 days with his own article, which was also linked on Drudge. And we always thank Drudge for linking those articles. He linked to that video that I worked on over the weekend, which was nice to see. You took your weekend, was working, I was working.
Right.
Because you can't rest, and there's always good events going on. So tell us.
24-hour news cycle.
Exactly. And tell people about the event you were at this weekend.
Well, I ended up going to the Austin Pride Festival, and when I went there, I was actually looking for socialists. I was looking for the Democratic Socialists of America, and I ended up finding that chapter, but I also found Hillary supporters. I found the entire Hillary campaign there, and they were belligerent. They were actually insane. And just the mention of anything that Hillary could have possibly done wrong in her life, they were shocked and they were, disgusted. They couldn't believe that Hillary has ever done anything that would be against the platform that she's supporting now. But I let them know that Hillary supports countries like Saudi Arabia, who
throws gays off buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do the gay people say when you bring that up? They think that's okay?
Well, they don't believe me. They say, well, is there proof for that? That's what this one woman was saying. I don't believe there's proof.
Proof in the millions of dollars. That's hundreds of millions.
Exactly. Hundreds of millions of dollars from the Clinton Foundation. Basically, she's put in all this money to these different countries. She doesn't care about their human rights or their civil rights.
She cares about their money.
Violations. Exactly. She cares about money. And she's not even trying to be honest at all when it comes to what she actually feels, because I actually showed clips from her old testimonies where she's been talking about gay rights, and she'll go ahead and say, I don't believe in marriage equality. I do not believe in equal rights for gay people. And then you'll see her a few years later, when it's more convenient, she'll go ahead and say that I do support it. So it's all this flip-flopping. She's just, someone who's just trying to get attention and get money from these different organizations. She doesn't actually care. So anyway, I ended up talking to these socialists, and they were all for Jill Stein mostly, and they wanted to tell me that Black Lives Matter and that basically no one else matters, and they're not trying to hear all lives matter. They believe that that's something that they should be against, and that Trump is trying to foment all this racism, but it's really Hillary Clinton. It's really the Democratic Party.
I agree. Speaking of Jill Stein, I watched her town hall. Because, now third parties exist. Now CNN, since Trump is not one of the ones that they wanted in there, we're going to talk about third parties, which in one way is good. At least we're talking about third parties. And I was listening to Jill Stein, and she's got some interesting ideas, some of which I agree with. But time and time again, she goes back to Black Lives Matter and supporting reparations and making, it's white people's fault for everything that's gone wrong in this world. Yet we've got to trust this older white lady to fix it. And more government.
It makes
to fix
no
it.
sense.
Government's bad, but we're going to get more government to fix it.
Yeah. The bottom line is that they want to have reparations, but it's like, who will you give it to? It makes no sense at all.
And how are you going to prove it?
Right. Yeah. These people are gone. They've already suffered. So for me, it doesn't make sense. For reparations in a monetary form like that. And basically, they're just trying to create a division type tactic. Like they just want these black people on the urban plantation. They want them voting Democratic for 200 years, like LBJ said, as they exposed in Hillary's America by Dinesh D'Souza. Everyone who's going to vote needs to see that film. It really demonstrates how the Democratic Party has systematically fooled a lot of people into thinking that they are for, the little man, the person who, is just trying to struggle to feed their family and just be a good citizen. But the bottom line is that they're just using people for their votes. They're really not trying to help them and help them move up in the society.
Well, they want to keep them controlled.
Right.
And they control just by a little bit of money, a little bit of services, free Obama phone, whatever. Let's go to that first clip. This is, the one with, I forget the title of it, but it's the one that y'all just showed up on there. Now, the one on linked on the website has got a lot of cursing in it. This one's beeped.
This is,
so we can play this on the radio.
This is degenerate socialists.
Yes, degenerate socialists.
That's the first couple words.
I'm sorry, precious snowflakes.
Yes.
These are precious snowflakes who
These are purple penguins.
who think you're crazy. So let's listen to what they have to say. They're smarter than you. Just remember that.
No, we don't want you. You back Trump. We don't want to talk. We don't want to talk to you. You back Trump.
I'm bad? You don't even know me.
You back Trump. Get away.
Well, what's wrong with Trump? What's wrong with Trump?
It's a racist.
Give me that racist technology.
He's racist. He's not racist.
Such a question.
He's not racist. Why is he racist?
Who?
He wants to Donald Trump. He wants to send Mexicans back. Hillary supports groups. Hillary supports countries that support throwing gays off buildings. That's a fact. He does not support racism. Trump! 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 Do you have anything reasonable to say? Your whole Trump.
In case you didn't hear it the first time.
Right.
Notice the little girl in the right-hand corner of the screen.
Trump! Trump! Like this. They're in front of a little child.
Suck!
I thought he was going to bite my face.
Ask me if all lives matter.
How dare you? How dare you?
What a question.
You don't believe all lives matter?
I believe black lives matter.
And no other lives. So get rid of you because you're not black?
Oh, quit your stupid questions.
Oh, was that you laughing at the end?
Yes, that was my maniacal laughter in the end.
Oh
yes,
my God. That guy literally has got a screw loose. Maybe.
For sure.
I don't know. In my opinion.
A few sandwiches short of a picnic basket, if you will.
That is just insane. Like, totally freaking out. Nobody wants to have a reasonable conversation.
Right.
They just want to, and we saw this at the Trump rally too. The people that don't like Donald Trump are just, they've bought, I guess the byline at the Huffington Post where they say he's a misogynist, sexist, racist, xenophobe that they put after every article that mentions Trump.
That's what anyone says whenever I ask them if they see that Hillary for Prison shirt and they don't understand why I'm not with her. They ask me, oh, well, what's going on with Donald Trump? He's against Muslims. He's against Mexicans. He wants to build a wall. He wants to send black people back to Africa. And I'm like, he never said that. He literally has never said that. None of those things are true. If you look it up, you'll find that Hillary Clinton and Senator Byrd are BFFs.
Exactly. And she had the father of the Pride, I think it was called Pride, that nightclub in Orlando.
Oh, it
the
was
father,
Pulse. Pulse nightclub.
Pulse, yeah.
Yes.
They invited him to the one of her rallies.
Exactly. And I know from being at the Trump rally in Austin, I know that you can't just sit behind the presidential candidate.
No.
There's no way that you can just sit behind him. There's a list.
You have to get there hours earlier.
You have to get there hours earlier. You have to be on a special list. Like someone said, oh, Ivanka got me, the seat, you have to be in with the campaign. There's no way that you can just sit there. So they knew that Khazir Khan was going to be there, and they were trying to send a message to Donald Trump that they actually want to do him bodily harm, I guess, because his son, Khan's son, was the one, Omar Mateen, who killed over 50 people. at that Pulse nightclub. At least 50.
Yeah. And
it's awful.
It's just beyond words, and the media is like, no big deal.
Right.
No big deal.
Especially since he was supposedly a part of the community. And I don't understand when people of the community don't want to realize that they need guns. I know Austin now has a Pink Pistols chapter where they're trying to get people to know, about gun rights and how you need to protect yourself if you're part of the LGBT community, because you need to realize that there are people out here, especially, unfortunately, the Islam community. Apparently, it says in the Quran, as I've heard a lot of imams say, they want to kill gay people in any way that they can. That's what it says. So,
and then what's weird is some of them like to have sex with little boys, these men.
Right. It's pedophilia.
That's okay. Yeah,
right.
I don't understand it. I don't even want to try to understand it.
Yeah. And, also genital mutilation.
Yeah.
I just saw a horrific video about how in Dagestan, one of Russia's neighbors, or one of the countries that's controlled by Russia, they're actually 3-year-old girls as young as 3. They're doing genital mutilation. God. So, hashtag religion of peace on that one.
Exactly. Now, you met another person. You came to me this morning. You said, I found another video.
I did find one.
and here we have a guy who's saying vitamins are bad, supplements are bad, GMOs are good. So he is literally from Animal Farm. 4 legs bad, 2 legs good. He believes it, believes the hype.
It's that Orwellian, weird, situation going on again.
We've got more social justice. We have more Trigglypuffs. We have Toodles. We got to come up with the name of this older gentleman. I don't know what his name could be, but let's watch this next video and see if we can come up with a name for the latest social justice warrior craze. GMOs are good.
You hear Alex Jones talking a lot about how the government's trying to destroy our gut. Right. You take the iodine to prevent a conspiracy about our government destroying our guts, right?
Well, it's not a conspiracy. There's a lot of things. Well, there's a lot of things that are in your food, such as GMOs and things like that.
Modified organism? Do you know about transgenics? What do you know about?
Yeah, you're not allowing me to talk. I'm saying there's GMOs and there's other things that are acidic that bother you.
In your food. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying GMOs are your food. I'm sure you're eating GMO. I can tell.
Yeah. Wait.
I know exactly what because it changes your DNA. It changes the structure of your DNA.
You study that says that.
I don't have one on me right now.
Can you name a single scientist that ever has espoused those type of theories that have backed it up with some type of peer-reviewed evidence?
Well, you can look it up. Organic Consumers Association. Look up Organic Consumers Association, and they'll tell you about GMOs. Yes, they back
that homeopathy.
No, it's not homeopathy. No, iodine isn't homeopathy.
Tell me a doctor that backs that up. Like
There's plenty of doctors. There's plenty of doctors.
Backs up Alex.
There are.
Conspiracy. His conspiracy about iodine.
And how we need to protect our thyroids from hypothyroidism.
Yeah, so you pay Alex Jones this money, right?
You don't have to pay Alex Jones. You can go to the natural grocer or Whole Foods and buy iodine.
Yeah, well, that just seems completely moronic. Alex Jones talks about the
nutritional supplements are
he talks about the
insane
group and getting off planet and this life extension technology that people are hiding from him. Name somebody who is like rich and elite who is living longer than they should because of this so-called life extension.
Well, there's a lot of people like Ray Kurzweil who do believe that they can live forever through life extension technology. That's what he talks about.
Forever, and therefore it exists, and therefore it's being hoarded from Alex Jones?
Well, they're billionaires who are working toward projects in order to do that.
How old are they? How old are they?
What's your point? They're working toward it.
Have they ever extended their life?
They're working toward it. They've written books about it.
You have zero evidence for
I do. I have proof.
Name one.
You're asking me, and I'm telling you, Ray Kurzweil, he's written tons of books about life extension technology and how he wants to achieve life extension and live.
Transhumanism.
He's talked about it.
And Elon Musk, all these guys, they talk about it.
He's talking about the Hyperloop. I helped launch SpaceX COTS Demo 2 when I was in the Air Force. I've worked with Elon. He's developed
you probably got
Tesla,
your vaccines.
SpaceX, the Hyperloop,
he definitely did.
PayPal.
Teslas that kill people, Teslas that blow up and kill people on the road.
Devil on that side of the equation of who invented PayPal. Elon Musk is a great man. the actual guy in that
He just
story
gets
that you
billions
wanna
of dollars from
focus
the
on is
government to do his projects, you know, because he can't make his
You're
money
talking
on
about
his
a guy
own.
who's trying to convince
Yeah,
people
and a lot of these people probably have some good ideas, but we're going to post the rest tonight. You can see the rest tonight on the nightly news.
Right.
We got to come with did we give it a title for this one? This is GMO Buddy. I think that's his name.
Oh, this was Socialist says or claims that GMOs are good and vitamins are bad.
Vitamins are bad because, and he has no idea. The gut is where your entire immune system resides.
Exactly.
It all resides in your gut.
He didn't even give me a chance to tell him about probiotics and how those can help your gut.
He's probably on a lot of antibiotics, and he looks like he's on a lot of other things that aren't good for you. Probably a lot of potato chips and sodas and beer and pizza.
Well, he doesn't believe that GMOs are bad. He actually said that GMOs, you know, could be good. Do you have a study to prove that? And it's just like, where have you been, you know, the past decade? Please
pull up the photo of the GMO rats for that RT. I think RT did the study.
Those tumors, they were horrific.
They look good. If you guys can pull that up.
They reduce your fertility, your neurological function, everything.
So he was basically a poster child for iodine. He needed some iodine in his diet. Oh, there it is. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
A French 2-year study.
Not a problem.
And then they came out and said, oh, this study was fraudulent, and we're going to sue you. And then they actually backtracked on that, and they said, no, the study's okay. They had to, but it's always the redacted versions, like in page 40. Well, you know, front pages, it's a lie, it's a lie.
Yeah, GMOs are still good for you. Just have as many as you want.
And drive in your driverless car and let it kill you. All right, so that's what these people want. They're going to get the future that they want as they sit around and watch their bread and circuses. We'll be right back with the final segment of the 4th hour of Overdrive. Thank you for watching Infowars.com. Final segment of the 4th hour of Overdrive. Remember, you can always watch the free stream at Infowars.com/show. In fact, it's going to start repeating here in about 6 minutes, and you can watch the whole show again if you missed it, or if you're just joining us at the 4th hour. You can also go to prisonplanet.tv and become a member. We also have the Alex Jones channel where we put stuff up, and we're approaching, I think, 2 million subscribers. I think we'll get there by the end of the year. And I think we hit 1 million late last year. So we are definitely on the march. The empire is on the run.
Lots of momentum.
But when you're fighting Hillary Clinton, even with all her media cronies, she's still like,
she's weak. She needs stools to prop her up.
Speaking of people who are on life extension technology, though, John McCain is in a primary now with Dr. Kelly Ward.
He's back.
We're going to go to a video there. He's in the fight of his political life in the age of Donald Trump. Here's a man who said the ISIS are good friends of his. He's been photographed with them, going to visit him, trying to take over Syria. So his person running against him, Dr. Kelly Ward. Here's an interview with her. If you haven't voted yet in Arizona, you still got time. It's only 1 o'clock there. So let's go to this interview.
Awesome.
Ready? Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now we're inside the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm joined by Kelly Ward. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here with all of these great Americans who want to make America great again.
And I'm glad to see someone challenge Senator John McCain. That's really making me happy. So tell me a little bit about your platform and then about the remarks about how you believe he's kind of responsible for the rise of ISIS.
Yes, well, you know, I'm running on a small government platform. Less taxes, less regulations, the strongest defense in the world, the strongest military, personal responsibility, and following the Constitution. I don't think you can go wrong with that kind of a platform. And yes, I took a punch at John McCain. Now, he took a punch at the president, right? Well, kind of. But he punched and then he ran backwards and said, oh, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I will tell you that John McCain is directly responsible for the rise of ISIS.
Wow.
I'm not misspeaking. I'm telling you the truth. His policies that he has had in place have allowed for a vacuum to be created in the Middle East that has been filled by a radical jihadi Islamic terror element. Now, the thing that's most concerning for me here on our soil is that John McCain has also supported amnesty and open borders. And so we have left a pathway,
because he's a real conservative.
Pathway open
he's a real
for those
conservative.
Emboldened elements
That's
to
what they
come
want
right
now.
into our country and affect our country, our soil, and our citizens. It's unacceptable.
I mean, we have a commander-in-chief now that can't even say radical Islam. Yeah. And then he goes on the news and tells people not to use it. And in essence, giving them a free pass to continue what they're doing. You know, I was just in Orlando. I saw all that stuff out there. Ridiculous. And like you said, they're allowing the border to be wide open. open. What are you going to propose? What are you going to help to do to secure borders?
Well, I'm ready to mix the mortar to fix the border. And so I'm here today because Donald Trump does want to secure the border. He does want to stop illegal immigration. He does want to prioritize American citizens over people who come here illegally. He does want to stop people from coming into this country who want to do us harm. And I'm all for all of those things.
I mean, we already have a border fence in her.
And you can catch the rest of that on the Alex Jones channel. That was actually one of our interviews that we upload straight from the phone because we're trying to bring you news as quickly as possible, especially when it's breaking.
Yeah,
and you can tell that it's got the little bug in the upper right-hand corner. That's one of our in-house programmers wrote that and put it on our iPhones, and we can now just put bugs on everything we do so people know. Oh, next time the next AIDS, Skrillex, or Carl the Cuck video comes out, you'll know who's responsible for it. It's Infowars.com. And there's plenty of more Trump events coming up. It's going to be a great election season. I think Trump is going to take it. He's now just trouncing her in the polls. So it's kind of funny. I love it. I love it because Hillary Clinton represents the establishment and everything that's wrong with it.
Totally.
And how they're old and haggard, and it's time to put them to bed. It's time to just send them out.
Got to get out there and vote.
Exactly. So get out there and vote. Get out there and wake other people up. Infowars.com/show is the link that you need to send out right now to everybody you know. Infowars.com/show. We'll see you next time tonight, 7 p.m. Central. Infowars Nightly News.
Planet.tv.